What is your earliest memory of Raila?
Ikifika hapa kwa kifua naita malaika. Bado nini? Lakini kiingia kwa kwapa na huko chini niliambiwa lakini nimesahau.
I've never seen Bondo like that in my entire life. Na mimi hapo 2017 hapo ndio penye baba alianza kunipoteza.
Yeah, same.
Because 2017
everyone has their day that Raila died.
And where he died? Alikufa huku.
Alikufa huko anapaka
The India is fake. Ati hakuna mtu hapo ndani. I've seen all man of.
No, even the casket was coming from JKIA. Some people believe that guy was already at Lee funerals. This was a decoy. The thing is, we were amongst the first ones to go for the viewing. I think that's why I even saw it on tape.
Yeah.
That combines snapshots, autobiography, history, and fictions to come up with many stories that are truer than true. So I felt devastated, exasperated, flustered, flurried, suddenly exhausted, and desperately tired due to the death of Dr. Baba Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
You cannot tell the story of this country without his name. It's easy to declare betrayal on social media, but I keep thinking about what it means to carry a country's hope for decades, to be the vessel of millions of dreams that never came true.
Raila Odinga, the man who changed Kenya without ever ruling it. I really sat on that title.
He didn't pretend to be a Christian to garner votes. He practiced his faith quietly and campaigned on issues. The man who pretended to be a Christian has become Gidinji, a butcher of children.
Over 26.
This is the Burger Podcast.
This is the Brunch Club.
Over 26.
Welcome back to
The mics are cool.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.
Anyway, what up, my name is Chaxy, the mastermind, your main guy, the Lord Chaxy, the beautiful Mariah is around, the amazing Mwass is around, the whole gang is around. Episode 303, we are... And it goes without saying, Magunga is in the building!
Hey.
You guys have to teach me something else.
What?
Because that's kila time, because jana, I called Costa, the first thing nilisema tu ni, ongeri wachane bwana. What else should I say?
What do you mean?
Like, mi najua tu, nikipigia kani mwanaume nasema tu ongeri wachane bwana.
Nango.
See, you call somebody whatever you want to call him, so long as it's not a domestic animal. Make sure it's a...
So does
wild
Ongeri
animal.
Machange Bana mean?
Ongeri ni monkey. And then wachane is...
Like, how you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh.
Yeah, but sasa
It
beyond
would
that...
be like Chalnad, like how is it looking?
Okay, nataki kuna matusi. I don't want to...
Yenye kuna matusi.
Nguruwe inaitwaje?
Nguruwe
Najua atashinda kinipigia.
Niambia nguruwe ndo nitext Saddam sai. Nguruwe inaitwaje?
Ai, bora nataka kusinini.
Aki woi, poa Saddam.
Hata na sahi na sahau kiniuliza sahi. At what is nguruwe in Dholuo?
Yeah.
Imagine umenipotelea.
But iko.
Lazy kosa.
I don't think kuna nguruwe uko Kuria.
Okay, na
To
fisi.
be honest, all the years I was in Kuria, hata nikiendanga I've never seen nguruwe Kuria.
Otoyo. Fisi ni Otoyo.
Otoyo. Otoyo ni after fisi. Ule Otoyo comedian.
See, it's...
So if you're a Luo man unaitwa Otoyo, wewe ni fisi for real.
Oh, nini nguruwe ni anguro.
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 So utaka ukinisalimia hivyo.
Ati anguro. Unataka kuitwa anguro?
Akiniita anguro namwambia chief.
Acha nitext tu Saddam anguro minus context. Anguro hivyo.
Bra.
Hivyo.
Anguro tu venye the way you say it.
Hivyo minus context.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have just two announcements before we get into the episode. One is a reminder that our final leg of the tour is going to happen on November 1st. That's next week, Saturday, actually.
Imagine.
And all tickets are still available on Haswalsasa, miccheckpodcast.haswalsasa.shop. Links are going to be in all our bios, in all our descriptions. Get your tickets well in advance and see you on the 1st of November. Secondly, this Sunday, Mutoria and the orchestra, Mutoria's gig and the orchestra is going to be happening at KNT. It's him featuring Chris Kaiga, and tickets are available on mook.com. Get your tickets early in advance. I did go for the first one that he did with the orchestra at the museum. If you haven't seen that, kindly again get your tickets on mook.com. It's going to be on the 26th at the KNT this Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Now, back to Anguro. Yeah, man. And so, just like that, our Baba episode will never happen.
Imagine.
We tried to do that episode.
With Raila himself?
Yeah. And all the time, ilikuwa get close, and then I don't know. Yeah, I think Nile... Also, you don't think that someone is going to die. So you think you have time.
Yeah.
And the common thing, once if you like Sisi, we have a guest every week. So as imagine, there's guys we start looking for now, episode Tafari next year.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it's weeks. So it just never happened, man.
Poleni, man. Poleni, that's tough.
It was one of those episodes. Tungepata confirmation sahi tunakwambia.
Bye.
Magunga, please, enda kunywa chai pale. See you next week.
Endeni mumtafute inaitwa Kango Kajaramogi. Amelala sasa.
Is it open? Is that place open?
Yeah.
To the public?
Yeah, it's a mausoleum.
Okay. Just for him, or for his family?
For his family. I think when we were in high school, there was a time we went over there because our high school was close.
So even his dad, Nini?
Yeah, his dad is there.
Okay. Okay.
Bruh. But I think like the past 1 week, because now it's going to be a week tomorrow when this episode actually drops, I'd say is such a critical week for just the political landscape in Kenya. I know everyone is curious corner, okay, now what's going to happen next? I've seen so much conversation, but also the speculation and me, I don't think nimeona propaganda mingi about someone like since Wednesday. Bro, how he died, where he died.
Who was there?
I'm like, hey, bro.
When did he die?
When did he die? At some point, I'm like, bro, chill. No, tu unajua ni mse hata ana information.
Yani creative writers took a break this week. Wanashangaa pia wanashindwa creativity yote inatoka.
You know, because it happens. Then initially, of course, you're online trying to follow.
Yeah.
And then una realize tu ni jaba. Kile kitu ni jaba. At some point, uko like, hizi ni jaba tu, bro.
Because now you can imagine niwe ndo kuhosi ama ni wewe ni mtoto wa
baba.
Alafu mnaingia mtandao mnaona msali
narrative imeenda,
bro.
Because everyone has their day that Raila died.
And where he died, it alikufa huku.
Alikufa huku alafu akapelekwa.
India is fake. Ati hakuna mtu hapo ndani. Bro, I've seen all man of.
No, even the casket that was coming from JKI. Some people believe that guy was already at least this was a decoy. So
alafu unamuuliza where is the proof, anakuza wewe bibi yako anaweza kufa uko India ukufe alafu huko like where is the proof?
But you know all this Raila's name Agwambo just basically means someone whose moves
mysterious.
Is someone mysterious, someone whose moves you cannot really clock.
He was
right?
Mysterious.
So even in his death he was still the embodiment of his name Agwambo. Right? Because of all this speculation going on around.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite articles that I read was from Nation, because I think it really captured like very key moments and just the story of the man that he was, personal life, politics. And the title literally read, Raila Odinga, the man who changed Kenya without ever ruling it. I really sat on that title. Huyu writer, hata nilisahau. Ilikuwa like 4 writers, actually credits ilikuwa na like I think 4 different writers. And that title in itself, man, like I reflected so much. It really got me to reflect on a lot of things that
is so
maybe nilikuwa, not that you've forgotten, but maybe you just didn't have that in the back of your mind, Ivo sana. So I would say maybe we don't have to dwell on a lot of the speculation because there's so much we can cover in regards to who the man was. You went for the burial.
Yes.
No, you went for the public viewing in Kisumu.
Yeah.
You know, I saw your tweet to Siku. Eti mtu aseme ngwe niende Kisumu sahi.
I saw this nigga on telly. I even thought nilikuwa jaba.
No, I'm saying, so the night before. So tweet. Because I remember reading it.
So what had happened was, so his body arrives, okay? And it's supposed to go for viewing at Parliament. That was the original plan, right? So me had said, I'm going to view at Parliament, and then that will be it.
Yeah.
So of course, Parliament was complete mess. I don't know how they did not foresee that is what was going to happen. Yeah. And then it was changed to Kasarani. Then when it got to Kasarani, it was a mess.
Double chaos.
Yeah. So Friday, I think it's Friday, there was the Nyayo Stadium one. But that morning, I had a shoot and I had someone I was taking care of, right, in Hosi. So I couldn't go that Friday. So ikafika usiku Friday, the point is, ataenda tu hivyo, ama nitaenda kumtafuta. So mimi nikasema, like, I called my friend, Costa, akaniambia anaenda, nikasema, boss, kama kuna nafasi nakuja.
Yeah.
Right? So to be fair, hapo ndo penye nikatweet nikasema mtaseme nyoho. Mtaseme nyoho. Tayari nilikuwa nishaconfirm kuna beats.
They're manifesting work.
I need dare to niambie sema kama wewe ni makundaenda. Wase kama sijui wangapi wakariji nikasema okay sawa. Saa 7 usiku tumetoka.
Damn.
Tukaenda Kisumu.
Yeah.
So luckily in Kisumu was much more organized actually.
I saw that, bro.
Than Nairobi. Kisumu was much more organized. So we were so lucky. Na unajua ndo uzuri ya kutembea na msanii pia. Mimi huko hakuna mtu ananijua but wanajua.
Costa.
Wanajua ujuzi. So ujuzi akifika tu hivi ni ka VIP anafunguliwa mimi kasema hata na mimi hapa.
Twende.
Ai. The thing is we were amongst the first ones to go for the viewing. I think that's why I even saw it on 10.
Yeah.
So hakukuwa na msukumano. Kaenda kamwona Yubao. And now that we're in Kisumu, Bondo ndo ile pale.
Might as well.
Mbona nisiende?
Yeah.
So Bondo was not in the initial plan.
Well, it ended up being in the plan.
It ended up.
I mean, it ended up being in the plan because as it tuko tu hapo.
You're already here, might as
And
well.
then, you remember Costa was performing
On Sunday,
after.
yeah.
How long
So,
a drive is it?
nikasema
from Nairobi
mimi
to
niende.
Kisumu?
5 hours.
Say 5.
Well, from where to where?
Nairobi to Kisumu. 5 hours.
Five and a half.
If you are a good driver, it is supposed to be 6 hours. Now, some people take less, some people
okay.
take more.
So is Costa a good driver?
No, Costa is not the one who was driving.
Okay.
Situkuwa kwa gari.
So the crazy guy who tried kissing the body, was that Nairobi or Kisumu?
Kisumu.
You know me nilionea mtandao.
I don't mean
Who tried to kiss who?
Kisumu tried
It
to
was
kiss the
Kisumu.
body, yeah. It was a lady, in fact.
It was a lady?
Yes.
Alikuwa hizo nyage zake zilikuwa mbaya.
Intrusive
Just hapo ndo penye hapo hizo ndo vitu zinatuchomea man because there's always been all this speculation about how Luos handle dead people and then it just so happened that in Kisumu ndo unataka kwenda kukiss.
Wait, what is the speculation? Like, how do you handle
No,
that?
so see there's you know I feel like ever since Baba died we as Luos we've been on the defensive side of our culture,
Yeah.
right? We've been trying to defend. But this is not the first time. There's been speculations. Watu wamekuwa wakiambiwa, don't marry in Lowland because they sleep with the dead.
Bodies, blah, blah,
You know, which is not true.
I am Kikuyu, I've heard everything.
You've heard those stories, right?
Yeah.
Sasa, we are trying to debunk those stories. Alafu unataka kukiss baba. Sasa hapo umetusaidia.
I undo 500 steps.
Yeah, man. We've made much progress. Alafu unataka kwenda kukiss baba. Man.
So, talking about, because I wanna understand what the energy felt like uko, but before then, zi Luo culture na the dead. So pia someone like Baba kulikuwa na disco matanga?
No, not kwa nini yake.
But kwa mabamazo.
So walienda bash.
So neza have
yao.
Okay, acha nitumie wawili.
Bondo haikulala.
So if Mwass dies, mimi naweza weka disco matanga kwangu.
Most of the time it has to be.
It has to be there.
I feel like Raila had, because of his stature, there was no way they were going to allow disco matanga.
Yeah, okay.
Can you imagine bringing all those people to disco matanga?
Juu hiyo crowd yote wangekuja usiku.
There, like,
Bra.
Okay.
Na kama walikuwa already kuviwa.
Wasa walikuwa wametoka Maragoli, walitembea na mang'ombe kutoka Maragoli Kakamega, kila mtu amekuja na yake.
Wow.
Unaelewa? Some people, and then Luo Nyanza si karibu as people think, right? So Siaya is not close to Homa Bay.
Saddam, I hope
Right.
Unataka Saddam anafikiri
We're not
all of us
Nyanza
live
ni
in Kisumu.
So he thinks all of you live in Kisumu, bro. Anguro.
Ni
Anguro wewe.
Wow. Mimi sijasema kitu sana. I guess in the same way, tunasemanga anything past airport ni Mombasa.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just that.
true. Makes sense.
So ukifika Nyayo unaanza kununua mabuyu.
Bas.
Accent ya Kiswahili ni
Kaka braza vipi bana?
Lakini Mombasa Road ina
Wambani.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Kisumu, Nyanza is
Quite huge.
It's quite big. Yeah, it's not the biggest, but it's quite
Quite
big as a
something.
province. Yeah.
What was the energy like? What did it feel like? Especially, like, let me say, on the viral day in Bondo now.
So the day we got to Bondo, it was there's no other word to say it. It was chaotic. Like people had come out on the streets. People were waving twigs and leaves. there are these lorries that are used for transporting, I think, sand
Tinga,
for
tinga.
construction, right? And yes, Baba was
Baba Tinga.
right? So people were on top of those things and they were just going up and down. I've never seen Bondo like that in my entire life, right? And it was for a stretch. The moment you get to how they tell this to you, who's
Just
not
say
been
it.
there. When the moment you get to Ndori,
Sema
which
2
is
kilometers.
a town near.
So Ndori
I
is
don't know
the
how
Kangemi.
like
Kangemi kama unakuja Nairobi. Limuru, okay.
tuseme kama Limuru hivi.
Okay.
Yeah, ukiingia Nairobi. So already all that place was wase walikuwa kwa markets, and you see, most of these towns are market centers, right? So when you're driving through market centers, and that's the day they were expecting the body to come to Bondo, right? So everyone was on the road to receive it, but then I think it was changed now.
It had to be flown.
It was flown.
Yeah.
So everyone had thronged. The initial idea was to actually take
Drive
him by
him
road
through. Yeah, like
from Kisumu
Jaramogi.
to-
Because I saw they
That
did
one-
that even
that
for
one-
Tomboya.
going
It wasn't
Your
going to
72 hours,
happen.
yeah, Baba Ingewe.
Yeah, I can imagine. Was
So the airlifting was decided on the day.
Evidently. Because
Yeah.
everyone was on the roads waiting
But I
to
think
take him.
they were just like adjusting as
They moved.
as it
Monitor.
went, because you have to.
I can only imagine the number of police you'd need to keep people out of the road too.
It's
And
not
you-
out.
you will not
You can't keep
manage.
them out.
Because
But
it's not a-
moving them
Any-
to get them
Bondo
to
is 1
move.
hour away from Kisumu.
Is something.
Na-
Would have been
unapita-
8 hours.
And you know, that's also the route that that we use, that trailers use coming from Busia. You know, all those trailers and goods that go from Mombasa to
Yeah.
Uganda.
It's a busy road already.
It's a very busy road.
Yeah.
So you'll have to block all of that
Just
and
to-
just keep like military all along.
Yeah.
They were never going to make it like that.
Do we know if John Heche made it? Remember the deputy party leader of Chadema?
No, he didn't.
I
I,
don't
think they
think he
released a
did.
statement. I checked the time when he was being released.
In Isibania. No, when
in
Kenyans
Malaba.
And to Serari border.
Kenyans stormed at the Sierra border because his
Yes.
passport was taken away.
Yes.
And they wanted to arrest him, but the Tanzanian government.
Yeah.
And Kenyans stormed and picked him and crossed him over to the Kenyan side.
Is that what really happened?
Is it really? Is he Jabba?
There's a video.
I feel like he was really. I don't know if Kenyans actually are the ones who went, because there were also Tanzanians on the other side.
Probably.
Who,
but,
because you see, they are in opposition, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think Kenyans are the ones who went and broke him out.
So it's Tanzanians who did.
Has to be.
Maybe even combined.
Was he
efforts.
broken out? I mean, he was just finally released.
No, bro.
I saw the chaos.
I thought there was. I thought there was Mandamano.
Yeah.
The last video I saw was him addressing that crowd and telling that crowd that he has to go to Bondo because of time. When he comes back, because he has to come get his passport,
Yeah.
which has been confiscated, he'll address them. That's the last video I saw.
I don't think he made it. By the time he was being released, unless akona chopa ya kumtoa at that time, because it was usiku, sindio? Ukuje Nairobi, upite uende mpaka Bondo direct.
Tough.
Yeah.
That's
Tough.
na hiyo, bro.
Tough.
Yeah.
You just pray that Samia na nani hawaja agree ati usimamishwe mahali. You get like you are
Yeah.
hivi mpaka Bondo.
Honestly.
Because
Hey.
by road ungekuwa na roadblock.
So
15.
later niliona tu they released a statement.
Yeah.
And then they just sent their condolences.
Yeah. It's crazy. You know, seeing that video was just a harsh reminder that if we didn't have people like Raila,
Bro.
it's very possible that we'd be in a country where less than 10 days, not even less than a few days to elections, the main leader of opposition
Yes,
is in
arrest-
prison. So he
yeah.
can never even campaign.
Yeah.
No trial, no nothing.
No
Ako
trial.
tu.
Ako tu
Ako
ndani.
tu.
Yeah, I mean, Akila, Raila was one of the key figures in fighting for like multi-partyism
Multi-party,
and all
yeah.
those things. Though let's not. Hapa wajalos watanitandika. He was not the only one.
Niko hapa, hebu ongea.
No, he was not the only one. There
it's
were
true.
a lot of people
Of
who
course.
fought for it.
Of course.
So while he was very vocal, I feel like nature abhors a vacuum. So there probably might have been someone else who could have picked it up. Maybe not the way he did.
Yeah.
But there were other people who would have
Yeah.
done it. And let's just be grateful that he was there to do it the way he
Yeah.
did.
And see it through. What is your earliest memory of Raila? I'll go with all of you. What is the first moment that you remember when Raila became a thing in your world?
2002.
Ish, bro, you're barely.
This is when Kibaki was running. I remember Kibaki had I can't forget. When Raila just said, Kibaki, Tosha. And from that day, he's just been a staple in my house. From my recollection of Raila being introduced in my life, I'd say 2002.
For me, I think is it Saba Saba ya kwanza ilikuwa which?
97.
Yeah.
Damn. Mna miaka ngapi we?
Is someone check? First Saba Saba, I think in 97. When 97, you are already an adult. Back on attend.
It was
Alikuwa
one,
tafuta
Saba Saba
kazi.
was annual, but either 97 98. I'm not sure.
I
One
think
of those.
97. So
Still though.
the first Saba Saba.
You are old enough to
No,
attend the Saba Saba.
I was not at year grown.
Attendee. Oh, sawa.
I was no, I was not an attendee.
We thought you attended.
I'm already seeing you with a Manila paper or whatever. A fly
No,
with.
me, what I remember, when I think back, I remember kulikuwa na people were coming out on the streets and fighting and nini. And the name Orengo and Raila were very common in the house. I was not old enough to know that's the guy and that's who.
Yeah.
You know, like what's going on. What I remember is that Saba Saba ilikuwa siku ya vita. In fact, Kisumu, I don't know about other places in Kisumu, but where we grew up, Saba Saba ilikuwa siku ya kusettle scores. So kati kuna beef na wewe tunakutana
Tunatokea. That's
tumekeana 110 mpaka Saba Saba. So hiyo siku
ya kusettle.
hiyo ilikuwa migosi.
No.
Ulinibia dem tupatane Saba Saba.
Saba Saba.
Ilikuwa kitu kama like kama ni Saba Saba na niko na beef na wewe tunamaliza.
Tupatane.
But sasa
In the name of politics.
No, endelea.
yeah, so after that I remember there was a time much later
1990.
that's the first
That's the first
that's the first Saba Saba, but the one I'm talking about probably was like 98 or
97.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what Akina Matiba.
Yes.
Yes, Akina Matib. So for me, I remember I inscripted NDP kwa wall unit.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wall
mama.
unit.
Hey, you're brave.
NDP. But because you see, you hear people talking.
Ulitumia msumari ama nini?
I think it was a compass or something. So
That's brave.
So nilieka, and then nobody knew who had done it. But of course, it had to be the most mischievous person in the house. Mi nilikuwa nasikia tu NDP. I think that's 19.
Did you know the meaning of NDP?
No,
so unasikia tu.
Mi nilikuwa najua hiyo ndo chama. Unaelewa? Yeah, so hapo ndo nikaandika. So of course much later sasa comes to now your time when he now says Kibaki Tosha and all that, and then he now becomes like a very big figure. And as you grow, you hear things from
previous.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact first time, but najua his name became prominent in our household during times of post-election violence.
Wait, no, I'm talking about the first memory that comes to you. It can't be post-election violence.
That's what I'm saying. I can't pinpoint. I don't have a memory at this is the day I had Raila for the first time.
Okay, do you know about Pentagon? Do you ever know about the Pentagon?
Sounds familiar.
Rainbow Collision?
Rainbow Collision. That sounds familiar.
That's true.
That's true too.
So it has to be during the Kibaki Tosha around.
Was there like there was a full page ad where it was like peeling on one side, and then CG there was the old government on that side, and then Kibaki's face was being revealed.
Oh,
I
don't think I remember newspaper.
I don't
from
think I
2002.
remember.
On a newspaper?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think there was like a full page ad.
The design was like the peeling thing.
Yeah, the peeling from the old the new face that's emerging is Kibaki.
Is Kibaki.
Yeah, and then I think that.
But
that
I mean,
might
there
have
could
been-
have been something like that.
Maybe.
There could have been.
I have a
I
rough
was in
memory.
class 6 in 2000. So I don't think I would remember. Ulikuwa class 1?
Sasa class 1 na class 6 hakuna difference kubwa
5 years.
sana. Inamaanisha tu when you're finishing primary yendo when ulikuwa una finish
ukiwa
high
form
school
four
ndo
kwa
alikuwa
class
na
eight.
join.
Mlitumia success cards.
What's yours?
Different exams.
Mine definitely Rainbow. Rainbow is the first one that I remember properly. When sasa wali from Rainbow because nakumbuka nilikuwa mtu siko naelewa nini, but Rainbow was such a big moment. Yenye for some reason that just nakumbuka hiyo nikiwa mtu nilikuwa najua Rainbow.
Everybody did.
What was the theme song for that year?
I just remember guys on the street singing yote yawezekana bila moi. I remember that.
And then
Unbreakable.
Then Unbreakable must have been my first. That was the first hype time.
Because Unbreakable, I think
was actually the campaign
song. Yeah. I am Unbreakable.
Was Unbreakable really the campaign song? I think when was that song released?
question.
So yeah. So that we
I don't think Unbogable was meant as a campaign song.
It was an independent song.
It wasn't released as a campaign song.
It was like it was
adopted.
independent, but they really adopted it at that time when they were. It was usually large. It was used largely when they were campaigning.
It's like ile ngoma akina X-Ray that akina Nani used. Is it akina Ruto used?
Sipangwingwi.
So the song was already big.
The song was already popular.
But then it just made sense for that moment.
Yeah, definitely Unbogable must have been that.
That's when it came out. So it came out around the same
perfect
time.
timing.
Which month? I'm a date.
Because those days elections were in December.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, elections used to be in December, bro.
Yeah.
The August thing is a recent thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
September.
came out.
So it was very timely.
It was so timely.
It was September.
It's
Kapatia
just-
said 30 days were Unbogable.
I guess it's also like the same way Anguka Nayo happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Anguka Nayo came out not because of Maandamano, but
yes.
it just now became the defining song. And then, of course,
That is
as
crazy.
he usually does,
Yeah.
Nani akaiangusha. But I mean, the moment
Hiyo ndio ameshinda.
Naangusha
Yeah.
Anguka Nayo.
I saw someone online. I don't remember exactly who, and I'm paraphrasing something in the line that globally politicians get power by all means, but Raila was not that kind of politician. I don't remember who that was. Someone said it online. And also, man, I want to recognize Aber. Did you guys see what Aber ran on Friday?
For Friday
Baba?
for Baba. That was beautiful. Thanks,
Oh my
Aber.
goodness. I remember just going through the stories. Bro, she did that was the best way to remember Baba. It was those question tags on IG. How do you remember Baba? And then anyone who responded, I found that video.
Exact.
Hey, bro, how did you even find all these videos? Bro, Magush, I'm not talking about it.
I'll just go take your phone and then you'll show me from your
Bro,
archives, 'cause I would
bro,
love to
and
see that.
I don't.
And it's not like a 10 stories.
Bro, Evie. And she found every single video of every moment that people posted. How?
The honest truth.
She's a
And
stalker.
there's a reason why she does your social
I
media.
know.
Exactly.
Aber,
It's
for
madness.
real.
No, good job.
Like, it was so well done.
Good
But I
job.
remember by the time I was done watching those videos, I was like, what a funny man.
Yeah.
Agwamba was funny, bro.
Yeah.
So when you see the beats and then it's many of them,
Yeah.
what a funny guy, man.
Alafu, guys started thirsting on younger Agwambo on Twitter.
Yes.
By the way,
So he was fine and funny
Bro.
and convincing.
Bro.
So I think the funniest thing was there's now the clips of Raila being funny, and then now there's the even more funnier clips of supporters just being funny. So, like there's a guy who was saying he's going to talk to Ruto. I don't know whether he has access to Ruto, but he's going to talk to Ruto for them to change the country to Raila. Then since Ruto Raila.
No, kikiacha Kenya yache kuitwa Kenya sasa itwe
Itwe
Raila Odinga.
The one I found funniest was that guy who was caught drunk driving. He's done the breathalyzer. He's like, amnipeleki mahali.
Oh,
Raila Amolo Odinga.
Did you guys see the video of the guy who apparently is the Englishman of Kisumu?
Yes.
Let me play it for you.
We are catapultously, tremendously. Bruh, this nigga can talk for days.
Abiro chwadi ni kusema nini?
Ndakupiga.
Nitakupiga. Are you talking about Gabiro mtu necessary?
No, not necessary. Let me show you the Englishman of Kisumu.
Pachana na sisi.
Oju mtu necessary.
Uji mtu necessary? Gabiro mtu necessary?
It just sounds like a nice name.
So the guy was on NTV.
This is Collins Otieno, also known as Kisumu Englishman. I'm intimately inspired by the language and culture around me. And the inspiration has resulted to many speeches I must come up with, especially on NTV. And the style is categorized as an autobiography that combines snapshots, autobiography, history, and fictions to come up with many stories that are truer than true. So I felt devastated, exasperated, flustered, flurried, suddenly exhausted and desperately tired due to the death of Dr. Baba, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who is the most charismatic, proactive, paradoxing, controversial, and perhaps difficult to understand. The leadership characteristic is not that of chauvinistic and parochial, not that of tribalistic, nepotistic, hooliganistic, or demagogic networks. In fact, sometimes back when other people like Mheshimiwa Babowino, Mheshimiwa Aduma War, Rosa Kinyibu first publicly proclaimed the supremacy of Odinga's national politics and the leadership qualities, they were immediately isolated and ostracized by the imperialists, by Desuges, and by then their leadership political protagonists.
Well,
Bro, right click.
Let me tell you.
Scroll down.
He sounds like a chemist taking stock of the like, paradoxically. Dr. Macracolite.
Sasa, then there's this guy.
No, or the old lady who was being told either to speak in Swahili or English. Because she says in Luo, like, give me the microphone. This case, like, of course, it's Kupea. And she just proceeds to speak in Luo. I just found that so hilarious.
Did you see the guy? The guy was telling Murkomen, "Now umevaa tight."
Umevaa pencil.
Nipatie bia ya air. Ilikuwa ya data.
Pesa mingi.
Nataka bia ya data.
Umevaa tight.
Umevaa pencil.
All minister, I think it's yes.
Alafu akamwomba ndio ya date.
All mheshimiwa amevaa pencil.
Mheshimiwa amevaa tie.
That guy is
I didn't see that.
Lulu Hassan. No, I'm thinking.
I saw the guy who
The
forgot he was
Amolo
married.
one. The Amolo Baby Bobu. Oh my gosh.
So,
Loser comical. Wow.
I think I'll find it. So, this is I want to find... The one that was my favorite is the one for Vitendawili for Nywele. When he goes down. Let me just play it. Abel, do you have it? Okay, not football. I'm sure I'll find it just here. This is what is still a bear. I found a clip of everything, bro. I don't know how he did it, Abel.
She said she's a stalker.
Yeah, evidently.
You're a stalker of Bab.
Bruh. Wait, who has that video? Who can find
Ile
it?
liaberi ndio kutunayo.
Give her a few minutes.
Abel, tumie.
Patia dakika kadhaa.
So it says this Tandawili about how hair is still hair, but it's called different names in different parts of the body. So anaanza na huku juu. I don't remember the name. Yeah, huku ni ndevu, huku ni malaika. Then he says kwa makwapa na huko chini niliambia lakini nimesahau.
Hey, bro, just imagine in the 70s, you're that funny, you're that fine, you have that proximity to power.
Charisma, it's...
Hey, alianzisha the Luo men.
No, but you see, like even at the funeral, Ida Odinga said that when they were younger, she had sworn off lawyers and political science students. Walikuwa nataka watu wa intellectuals. So akapatana na baba. Kajua hapa nimepata engineer. Sasa akaambia mademu wake, mimi
nimeangukia.
Nimetoka na nimeangukia. Kumbe
political engineer.
Akapata ni engineer wa politics.
Yeah.
Akachukua ticket na.
The one thing she was running away from. Hapo ndo
aliland. Man, what a life. So I just say this for context, in case you're living under a rock or for anyone who's not Kenyan. So on Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, that's last week, former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, was declared dead at the age of 80 while undergoing treatment at a hospital in India. The death was announced amidst speculation from online bloggers that he was sick and in critical condition, which we actually covered in the episode last week. So he was buried this past Sunday, the 19th, at his home in Bondo, as per his wishes to be buried within 72 hours after death. Since the official announcement of his death, there's been too many rumors and speculation. So we're not going to dwell on that. Also, something I found interesting is Jaramogi died at the age of around 82, 83. Oh, wow. I don't know why there's 82 and 83 when you read online. And they actually never said the cause of death up to date publicly. So I think that's something that the family just kept.
It was easier to keep secrets back then.
See, social media is easy. So the cause of death, according to Citizen Digital for Baba, I don't know. Do we know? Is it
cardiac
clear?
Arrest?
But is it confirmed though?
We don't know. The most I heard, it was cardiac arrest. He collapsed. They tried to resuscitate him. And then in the end, his sister is the one who had to switch off the machines.
Yeah.
He insisted.
His sister.
the sister
Yeah.
had to switch off the bus.
And also, he wasn't in hospital, right? Like, he collapsed somewhere else and then was rushed
Yeah,
to
then he
Rushed
was
to
taken
another
to
hospital.
the nearest private hospital they could
Yes.
find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's clear. So I'm gonna read 2 articles, one from Citizen Digital and BBC, just which are quick summaries, and then we get into the discussion. So Citizen Digital says Odinga spent his early years in politics in jail and in exile, fighting for democracy during the autocratic rule of President Daniel Arap Moi. He entered parliament in 92 and ran unsuccessfully for presidency in 97. Bro, 5 years after he just joined parliament, he ran for president.
Yep.
Bro, in 97, 2007, 2013, 2017, and 2022, claiming to have been cheated of victory in the last 4. He died while being part of the broad-based government, a partnership with President William Ruto to streamline leadership and service delivery in Kenya. Then BBC said Raila Odinga was one of Kenya's most influential and enduring political figures, a 5-time presidential contender and lifelong champion of democracy, fondly known as Baba. He spent decades at the heart of the nation's political transformation, earning both admiration and controversy. His death at the age of 80 marks the end of an era for a leader whose struggle for multi-party democracy helped shape modern-day Kenya. 2 questions. Do you think someone can become a president of Kenya if they're not puppets of the West?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yes.
In
you
this
can.
day and age, yes. Maybe
You can.
20 years back, no.
How?
I feel like you can.
I feel like that would be a very
How?
Without
That's
being
an uphill
Okay,
task.
so also,
'Cause-
so puppets of the West in what?
In the
way?
sense
Like
that
influencing the ideologies.
yeah, so is it a matter of ideology or money?
it's mainly, I'd say, interests. It could be money. It could be ideologies, because anyway, that's
Yeah,
how can
that's
be
how they-
converted into
exactly.
money. It could be just whatever agenda they're pushing.
I feel like you can.
You think you can?
Really?
I feel like you
Without
can.
being contested.
I mean, it will be an uphill task, but you can.
Because, okay, how much influence do you think the West has on who finally becomes president of an African country? Forget even Kenya. Any African country. Except now Burkina Faso.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like in
Yeah.
West Africa, they are trying to cut off.
And you
But
see
how
that West
many
Africa,
attempts has he
they
had?
didn't do it through the ballot. They
Yeah.
couldn't. It had to be an actual revolution or a coup. And also remember, a lot of the coups in Africa are also sponsored by the West.
Yeah.
By the CIA and all those organizations.
I mean, possibility is yes. How easy will it be?
Yeah.
Difficult, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine how many targets Nani has now.
Because I mean,
Bruh,
it's
16 at
mean, this is-
whatever attempts. It's crazy.
Even more now, probably. Yeah.
so after Raila passed away or when he was still in hospital. See, Nani alamka tu amenda UK all of a sudden.
Nani?
So guys was Kalonzo.
Kalonzo.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so guys were speculating ati wenye nchi wameita the next president. You get like that was the
by design.
speculation
Yeah.
going on around.
It just
Right?
looks
looks
like
that way.
It looks like Kalonzo is the favored candidate of the West in the next elections. That's what it looks like.
I don't know what to say to that.
I promise you.
So the
that
thing
what
is,
it
I
looks
don't know
like.
how Kalonzo will win, even with the support of the West as presidency, if he doesn't change any political tact.
So, I mean, definitely, I can only imagine how much money they're going to
Pour
invest
in, of
one
course.
strategy, in
Social media influence.
and then collision. He definitely needs to be. And anyway, we'll come to
We'll
that.
get
And
there.
Let me save it for just Leo too.
Listen, all I'll say, you can give someone all the money, but if they don't have a way to win over people, at least to make it a bit believable, it's gonna
It's
be
a waste.
The narrative is like a strong part of it.
Yeah. And that's exactly what
or maybe it
they are
could be
working.
that it is not 2027 that they're looking for, it's probably 2032 that they're
Yeah.
looking
Okay. True.
for.
Like
after-
slowly getting him into the system.
They could be, it could be that
It's a long-term
maybe
project.
Ruto is playing ball, you don't need to fix it right now, but now it's time for you to start preparing for 2032.
for the next one, soon as it's out.
Yeah. Because I also don't know who else has a national appeal after
To that
Ruto leaves.
extent. Fine.
Bro, if you look at it,
But
it's
how-
Kalonzo, guys.
7 years is
Let
a
me
very
tell you,
long
bro.
time.
Think about, okay, let's genuinely speaking, apart from Ruto, the only other person who is a very familiar face, has been, close to, has vied for the position.
He's been vice president.
Close. He's been a household name.
He's been a vice president.
And then which other party is considerably big now?
Wiper.
So the top three,
looks
it's
must go for sure.
ODM, UDA, and Wiper.
And
big names.
So it's definitely Kalonzo then.
Yeah. Now, if say, what do you think happens if Maraga, siasa zake zote ni people of Mount Kenya?
Gachagua.
So Gachagua, Maraga, and then some guys from ODM. If they join Kalonzo, what happens to Wiper now?
What happens to Wiper?
Yeah, it would now start to look like a party that represents the whole
I don't
country.
think it will be them joining the party. It would be probably like a coalition.
A coalition, that's what I mean. Okay, sorry. Different parties forming one coalition, yeah.
So they will take maybe the next 2027 as a case study and then take the learnings and...
Do you guys actually believe that Maraga has a big enough constituency to tipple an election or to add? Or does it bring more of like legitimacy to the group?
Yeah.
In terms of like...
Maraga is
safe to say
the
that.
right person on paper, but he doesn't have the numbers, which is sad to say.
Yeah.
But I think it's our job as the citizens to get those numbers.
But now you see the politics he's vying for. If they hook up with Gachagua, I mean...
now again, hapo sasa unaona values. But the question would be, even if you genuinely made Maraga president in 2027, say what we go out
all
to
of
vote
us
for Maraga.
unanimously.
How will Maraga run government if he doesn't have members of
There you
parliament?
go.
He doesn't. So it means
No, but power.
They could-
Power is
It's a funny
power is a
thing.
very interesting thing. People will align. There are people who are swearing against Ruto. Let me tell you.
I know.
Okay.
Before broad-based, it was almost the thing for opposition to do to Kana Ruto. Sai, they're declaring. Yeah?
Right.
People like
Joho.
Atandi.
Akina
Atandi is
Joho,
like,
akina Mbaze.
Hiyo kwanza, I can't even believe
I'm now a student and follower of Ruto. Baba amekufa, sasa nimepata baba mpya. Unaona? Hata kwa kimila yetu bana, before upate baba mpya kama mama yako amekufa, kuna
transition. Like, what do you mean?
But the point is power is like what? It's like pollen to bees, right? People will
align to it.
because there will be an opportunity to
For them as well.
for them to enjoy the trappings of power.
But will those people align with Maraga at this point?
If they have to, they will.
But will that be under
I don't think
or will it be him
I don't
independently?
think if I'm being honest with myself, I don't think these people have any reason to align with Maraga.
Again, because all of them is interests.
That's what I'm saying. If they have to, if they're pushed to the edge.
By who? So that's what I'm saying. Unless Maraga is part of a bigger coalition government, it makes sense
Or
because
that has a
there's more
familiar
interest.
face for them.
But if it's just Maraga independently, then what is the interest of these guys to align with him? While they
truly.
can stay with Ruto and hopefully stay in
whatever
government.
they need.
If you're already in government, as they say, we are now in government, yeah? So why would you leave to go and
Somewhere where you're not certain.
Yeah.
where you're not sure how it will go? Because the moment they leave, other people will just realize.
Occupy. Like, there
Because
you go.
politicians are very shameless people. Wakitoka Gachagua ataenda tu kunegotiate.
True.
Bro.
Yeah.
Tomorrow he'll be
tulifanya
singing
mara
a different
kwanza.
tune.
And if anything, saya
Yeah.
baba yuko mwenye atagalvanize hawa watu.
Yeah.
Na sisi tuko na mlima tayari. You get?
Hivyo.
What's stopping them from doing that?
Because also, imagine they could literally say, for the sake of the country,
For
we've forgiven
peace.
each other.
Exactly, for
and we want
peace.
to unify the country. So now it's Gachagua and Ruto again.
So
We are so cooked, bro.
tunarudi handshake.
Yani sisi ni
And right now,
sisi
the
ni
other side,
barbecue
we
direct
have-
kwa grill.
Anguro. Wet fry.
Anguru ni wet fry.
Ni kondo.
Oh.
Si kondo, I mean
Pork.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, I'll save that
We'll
to the
circle
end.
back.
Let's go back to Baba.
That's but it's very interesting. So the thing about it is, this is Raila's last elections to win or lose, even in his death. So because people will be like, we are going to make Baba proud. That's what the conversation
Baba
is.
would have wanted.
Baba would have wanted.
This is
Baba,
but
before he died.
that will not be
He
politics.
told
in
me.
2032.
He called me.
Yes, he called me. He told me.
Mtu moja kwani alikuwa na saa ngapi hizo?
Yeah.
So 2027 is Baba's last election to
Erection.
election.
Okay.
to lose or win.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also,
And so I have one other question, and then we look at some key highlights from his life. Then we go back into now way forward.
Yeah.
What do you think is Raila's biggest legacy to you guys differently?
social justice.
Social justice?
Yeah. Fighting for social democracy. So that's that's like freedom. I mean, the article you read, from 82 going all the way down, up until, so there's the fight for multipartism, which ends in 91 ama ni 92.
91.
And then after that, sasa ilikuwa ni kutoa Moi, removing a dictator and all that. Then there is Katiba Mpya, right? So that, I think that legacy, right? When you put it together with, when you juxtapose it to the thing he did with Ruto, that's where people were like, you know what, you pissed me off with this last year.
Yeah.
But now that you're dead and we are reflecting, he was in active public life for 40 years.
Yeah.
So this was the past 2 years. So there was another 38 years that
We've not really accounted for.
yeah. So you know what? Let me remember you for this.
Yeah.
And now that you're gone, I will forgive you for this.
Yeah.
That was,
Well,
And it's okay to be, I mean, you can't ignore the impact that he had.
Yeah. True.
And it's okay to feel some type of way about last year and how he handled everything.
Yeah.
But if you said because of that one thing, you'll ignore his entire legacy, then
Yeah,
that's
it
also
beats the
very
boy.
unfair,
Yeah.
you know. Because he's also, again, a complex person. And there's positives and negatives. All of them made him the person that he is.
Yeah.
honestly,
Wait, Kidogo, if you had to need to pick one, if you were to just need to pick one thing, what would you pick?
his biggest legacy.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Instead of a philosophy or
Katiba.
Katiba, 2010.
2010.
Okay.
That was a very important document. Simply because I had the opportunity to study it when I was in school, vis-a-vis what we had before. And it's a much better document.
Wakili mzima, you did law?
Yeah.
Do you practice? No.
No.
Uliweka ukachukua camera lens.
Hata ikuwa camera lens. Ilikuwa ni laptop. Because I used to be a writer first.
Actually, Magunga, you used to write, bro. You still write?
We can't call that writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Squeezing my text too.
Captions.
Sana captions.
Mad.
Okay.
I'd say social injustice because that was one thing that
Amesema hiyo. So if you need to pick something.
Social justice is so wide.
Yeah.
So one of the for me it's 2010 Katiba. It's not him alone who did it.
For sure.
But
Yeah. I'd also say definitely, as you think, 2010 for me, the Constitution. I don't see. Okay, he did so many great things, but this, in terms of impact, I think this had the most impact.
Oh, for sure.
Bro, the idea of just decentralizing power from the presidency
True.
and devolving it, bro. That's
Yeah.
we were stuck in such a system where things are not even moving as
Moving at
much
all.
because of power was so centralized.
Yeah.
And if you look at other African countries, unfortunately, even the ones that are not making as much progress, zote ni hivyo. Imagine running a country like Kenya where everything is centralized.
yeah. I mean there's also that's a whole different conversation. If you want to discuss
Altogether.
about what 2010 did,
Yeah.
tafuta tu mtu wa Katiba akuje tu awambie the impact of that. But that it expanded our scope when it comes to freedom.
Yes.
Of expression and all those things, gave a bit more power to judiciary, right? Ilitoa independence of the police, but it is still
It's still
Neither here nor
it is
there.
still
On paper, yeah.
independence of the police and judiciary. Okay, in paper, that separation of powers doctrine, yeah. Let's have executive as executive, judiciary as judiciary, and then this as this, legislature by itself. That in itself was a very important, and giving them all of them some measure of
powers and-
independence. However, politics being politics,
Somehow they're still intertwined again. It's crazy.
They are not really independent.
Yeah, they really are. Also, you remember we covered this story of this. I don't remember how old he is, but he's an older guy who decided to get into content. And alikuja Nairobi because he thought kufungua TikTok account, you have to come to Nairobi. So it shows you how things work. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Bro, I'm not making this up. It's online. I don't remember who, but I know someone. Please share a link in the comments if you know this guy. So, yeah, alikuwa anajua kufungua account TikTok. Lazima ukam Nairobi. Bro, now you can apply for your passport in Embu. Yeah. Bro, you'd have to come to Nairobi. I don't know. Wait, wasimulizaliwa kitambo mlikuwa mnasema.
Mlienda protest ya Sabasaba.
Yeah, protest ya Sabasaba.
You know now with Photoshop, you can make that happen. You just get a nice photo of you, Manila paper.
But then, Sabasaba ni kwa protest ya Sabasaba.
Wewe saida AI wazi unaweza kupata tu maguka kupa.
Yeah. Anything for you, Mwangi?
I think I'm torn between the Katiba na pia multi-party democracy back in 92, because that was also very instrumental. In it shaped the Kenyan political landscape as it is.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna I got key political highlights, and this is I picked some articles from BBC and then I used ChatGPT for the rest. So so I'm just gonna read the key highlight and then we can discuss. So 1945, Raila Amolo Odinga is born into one of Kenya's most prominent political families. His father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, would later become Kenya's first vice president after independence. That's resignation ya Jaramogi, was that true?
Yes.
So he wrote to Jomo and said, bruh, I can't just be vice president on paper when I don't have anything to do. I can't accept salaries and I'm not doing anything. So please, nime resign. So that's true.
Yes.
Wow.
So but which year was that resignation?
I don't know, bro.
Because you remember that was after Kinamboya had diluted the powers of the VP in Limuru at the Limuru conference. So basically there was that introduction of, was it 8? So having like about 8 vice presidents who now, his role now became too diluted. So he was like, bro, kama nini, acha tu ikae nayo.
Because he was the main vice president and then there's 8. So if the president can control the 8.
But ego was such a... Ego was a very big part of political life back then. Because I feel like the country was just starting. To be fair, at the time, Kenyatta ni mtu alikuwa amepatiwa kiti. And then him, Jaramogi could have easily formed the next government. It was offered to him and then he declined. He said, there is no, hakuna uhuru bila Jomo, right?
True.
So mtu kama huyo mtu mwenye wewe ndio umemfightia kuja kwa president. Tena anakuja na kusomea kama nani. You get?
Yeah.
There was a lot of ego in that sense. That's why people like Piogama Pinto, it was easy for them to speak out. At that time hakukuwa na kitu imefanyika. Then siku moja tu hapo Westlands Pinto down. So the moment ikaanza kwenda hivyo, then Boya akafuata. Ikakuwa noma.
So for him it was warning shots.
Yeah. But I feel like
nasema for Jaramogi, like he saw this is how things are being handled in this country.
So I don't know if this is before the assassination started or after.
Okay.
Or within.
The assassinations were already going on.
No, it was, I feel like that must have been just after Pinto only.
Okay.
Because Pinto was just the first one.
Yeah.
Damn.
So then 1982 till 1991, he's accused of involvement in the 1982 failed coup, against President Moi. Odinga is detained without trial for 6 years, becoming Kenya's longest-serving political prisoner. Rearrested twice for pushing multi-party reforms. His repeated detentions turned him into a national symbol of resistance to one-party rule. So this is happening 82 and 1991. Because also, when we're discussing about in our earlier memories of Raila, the one thing that I grew up knowing about Raila was he was in opposition. So they held the government accountable.
Yeah.
And also, because of that, it naturally felt like he was the person who was interested in our affairs as the people.
So I went for the thing about the coup. It has always been like that he was part of the involvement. Those were the charges that were put against him. That he was part of the involvement with the likes of Hezekiah Ochuka and the Air Force that was trying to do to overthrow the government. But in his own, I went to the chapter of his book is huge, man. Like you can't read all those things. But I went to read the part for
The coup.
And for him, he says this thing happened. The announcement ilitokea, ilipata kama he's in Parklands. Unaona, akasema hey, hapa ni kunoma, acha niende kwa sister yangu. So they went to her, was it her sister or her auntie's place in Riverside. Then just all that jitters about coup nini akasema basi yeye na some of his boys wakasema twende Kisumu tuoneke tunafanyika huko. So while that coup was going on, according to him, he was not even in Nairobi. Right? It's when he came back to Nairobi. Later on, the coup has been thwarted and all that. And he's arrested. At that time, people were being arrested for ukiona mtu, you are trying to eliminate people, right? The people who can be of threat.
Yeah.
So for instance, the SONU leader at the time, when the military took over, the student leader for SONU, they went out chanting, hey, celebrating Moi being removed. So when they did that, they were arrested, wakasema you are part of organizing this thing, right? So according to him, he was actually not part of this coup. That's what he says, right? But the charges as they read, and they were big, a long list of charges.
But he says for the 6 years, they didn't even, like he was not
for
even...
6 months, they were
He was detained
remand.
without trial for 6
Yes.
years. 6 years.
6 years.
But there's a video, some interview he
years.
had where he says
Bro.
the total of the years he was imprisoned was 9.
Yeah.
Detention without trial.
Because it says he was detained without trial for 6 years, but he was rearrested twice. So maybe that pushes it
also
all to 9 now.
cumulatively, okay.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting thing. So, but you see now, this is someone telling his story, and then there is what other accounts say that he was actually involved in all this.
Yeah.
And that whole thing of whether or not he was involved in the coup, of course, later on would come and bite him because there was this notion that he's the prince of violence and that his entry into politics was through an attempted coup.
Yeah.
Right? So he's tried to clear the air, but
It's not
nobody would
It's that
listen.
stain that's just...
that one
permanent.
for sure.
So, and you see that the rest of us, we don't know if kama anajaribu kujitoa ama
he really
ni
was.
kweli. We don't know at that time because you have to understand in 1982, especially after an attempted coup, watu walikuwa wanaekewa makosa that are not there. Some people were even killed
for
on street
nothing.
for nothing.
Yeah.
So who are you going to believe? Him who says I was not there,
Or the record that
or
says
the
you were
record
there.
that was so tainted, a time when people were being detained without trial. So what are you going to believe?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Then in 91, 92, after mounting internal and international pressure, Kenya restores multi-party politics. Odinga becomes a leader figure in the opposition, joining the Forum for Restoration of Democracy, FORD, founded by his father. So this is happening now in 92. When he first joins office.
Office, yes.
Bruh.
He joins officers?
Member of
Was
Parliament.
it MP for Langata. I think that it's just between 92 and 94 that him and his father actually served in Parliament together.
Yeah, because the dad passed on in 94.
Yeah.
As the MP for Bondo.
For Bondo, yeah.
And then his son took over.
So in 97, now when you went for...
Not 97, it must be 98, 29, but
Manila paper imeandikwa. So as Magunga was doing that, Odinga...
bro, skiza, these people will take it serious. I was not there. I was too young, bro.
Hey.
Mimi tutapata tu checkmates kwa street wakuulize. So how was it?
Hiyo Manila paper
I was too young.
kisha bei ya unga by Magunga.
I remember, bro, listen. You know you're laughing. Because tunapigana, the day for Sabasaba, I remember fighting with my brother. Now, because he was bigger than me, I remember I jumped on his back and beat him. Hapa. Ilimuma mpaka damu ikatoka. Na tulikuwa tunapigana simply because kwa Sabasaba. Unaona?
We are never beating the allegations.
But
Thank you
See,
for
got to
thank you for the
make
prompts for
Chibudia,
AI.
Yeah.
I just see a big person and a small person.
Sasa sisi tukitokea maandamano 2024 tulikuwa na experience ya.
You know, legend.
Infiltrators.
So anyway, in 97, this one he first vice for presidency. I joined politics 92. 5 years later, the next election I collect.
Running.
So Odinga contests the presidency for the first time under the National Development Party, finishing third. His campaign symbol, the tractor, earned him the nickname Tinga. Yeah. So that's when Tinga happens in 97.
Yes.
Also coming third, bro.
Yeah, that's huge.
So that's
it
Moi.
was Moi, Kibaki.
Kibaki,
Kibaki,
then yeah. Now 202, which I think now most of us actually remember.
Yeah.
So in the run-up to the 202 general elections, Odinga played a starring role by endorsing Mwai Kibaki, the Kibaki Tosha moment, which helped end decades of rule by the KANU party. Though he did not become president, the period marked his rising prominence and set the stage for constitutional reform. So 202 was the biggest, one of the biggest moments.
Yes.
Between 97 and 202, he joins KANU. He joins with
No
Moi.
way.
See, that was the first handshake.
Oh my God. Moi
By the
endorsed
way.
Kibaki. No. Endorsed Raila first.
No.
Then I saw Moi endorsed Raila first. I'll get it.
He joined KANU
Yeah.
with to join. His point was that let's go and change the ruling party
From inside.
So as they joined, but this was about succession politics. Moi had indicated that was going to be his last forever. Also, Moi wasn't removed; he actually resigned.
Yeah.
People forget by the way that actually Moi akushindwa alijitoa. So, and then Moi decides to endorse Uhuru as his successor.
Yeah.
I think he was just anarudisha mkono kwa baba yake.
Yeah.
And at that point, akatoka na LDP. So that's the time when there were so many parties that were coming out, right? Then with LDP, that's when now he goes to say Kibaki Tosha. Somewhere along the way, akaacha Nyachaya hapa Serena. Ati wako kwa meeting. Toka kwa meeting, Serena akavuka barabara. So you know where Serena is?
Yes.
Akavuka barabara akaenda rally ilikuwa inakuwa held Nyayo. Inakuwa held hapo Uhuru Park. Akifika huko Kibaki Tosha. Na ameacha Nyachaya hapa.
Nyachaya anamuona kwa TV.
Nyachaya anamuona kwa TV. Silikuwa tunapiga story ya venye unaenda kuniendorse. Ni nini?
Bro, okay, which means clearly by the time, okay, I'm assuming by the time such decisions are being made, uko na option A, B, C.
Yeah.
So for him, option A
Which one looks viable?
Unajua kama F1 tu, switch to strategy B, straight up.
Kaende.
Yeah, so he went there and said Kibaki Tosha, and that was such a key defining moment. So everyone else had to just align after that.
So they'd been in talks with Kibaki all along. Nyachaya
I think he was just weighing all these options.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
What makes more sense? Kibaki was already...
And everyone was already
number
looking
2
that
in the
way.
previous election.
Yeah.
You are saying you want to do this and you're starting from scratch. Back to what we were talking about. But the history...
Always repeats itself.
So what we're talking about right now, what are you going to do? Are you going to go through with... Are you going to try and smamisha somebody new?
Starting from scratch or to many at least...
Work with what is already...
People, someone who's already done, someone who's already a household name.
Yeah.
True. So I stand corrected. He didn't endorse Raila first. Moi literally just endorsed Kenyatta. Yeah. Then Raila, Kalonzo, Saitoti, and Kamotho, who were prominent KANU leaders, Sasa defected, and then they formed Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, which later joined Mwai Kibaki's NAC to form the NARC, National Rainbow Coalition. What the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Crazy.
But Moi pia alitumia
Nyachaya never recovered.
Saitoti.
No, honestly.
Bro, at least chukua VP wako, man.
I know, man. And then Saitoti had served twice as vice president.
Yes.
Yeah, he'd served twice, bro. I mean, even just the unfortunate... Saitoti is just one of...
Professor of mathematics.
You look at now Saitoti's life. I'm like, how unfortunate can someone be, man? Yeah. Anyway, 2007 to 2008, he claimed victory over President Mwai Kibaki in the 2007 election. Bruh, all of us know he won. Listen, if there's one election Raila won fair and square, was 2007.
Without any doubt.
Bro, like, hizo zingine we can contest. 2007, come on.
Ulikuwa wapi 2007? Like, what was your story?
Mi nilikuwa Migori because my dad's vote used to be in Shags. So we had gone to Kisumu because at that time my uncle was running in Kisumu. So my dad just went to support Nini. So we finished, go to Migori because he has to vote. Boom. Yeah. So we're outside, mpaka tukatumeka radio juu ya gari. We're waiting to hear the way Baba is in. We just hear suddenly the radio went silent for a bit, then suddenly there's a swearing in. There's a swearing in that was happening. Next thing was thingy.
Stima ilipotea.
Stima ilipotea kwanza.
Kurudi ndo tukajipata.
Kenya nzima stima ilipotea the whole country.
Tulikuwa nje. Sasa sijui kama we were outside the house.
You got to the moon and the stars.
We were outside the house. We got radio. We were listening to the radio. Yeah. All of us were outside. So next thing, there was just some weird silence. Next thing, we were announcing Mwai Kibaki as the winner. I remember Migori town. I've never had silence in Migori like that in my life. And the next thing, like chaos. Yeah.
Because I think at a city stima zikirumia, I was in, I think maybe class 6, 7, hapa tu Githurai. But now as we were locked indoors, I think the area we were living, the guys got together and got some extra security because there were rumors. We went to sleep early, then uko 4 a.m. chaos. Then I don't think we went to school. Shule hazikufunguliwa vile zilikuwa zimepangwa. Yeah, so it was just maybe 2 weeks of chaos. And then now we started seeing the videos. Is that when Kibaki was on a wheelchair?
No, that was
two.
Yeah. It was hectic.
So, si tulikuwa Kisumu. Fuck up. Wewe karibu kusema nilikuwa bombers. Bro, tulikuwa bombers. Na plaka.
Returning officer.
No, my mom was a presiding officer in Sia.
Oh, wow.
Together with my elder brother was a clerk. So, I'm left at home with my other elder brother. Mwenye tunafuatana hivi. He had just finished Form 4. Ilikuwa after KCSE. So, yeye anangoja results. So, tumebaki hapo hivyo, tumekaa, tumeenda tukafanyishwa shopping, nini. Tumekaa. Tunafuata tu hivi. Akilala, naamka. Nikilala,
atuachili.
Tulikuwa atuachili. Na hapa, tulikuwa tunajua.
Ni hivyo.
Alafu, that is the time when some constituency yenye hatakuwa tumeisikia.
Tarakani.
Unajua venye ujira ilikuwa inanisinya
baada ya leo unasikia tu.
But then do you know
your time
kuna jamaa sisi wote hatukuwa tumeisikia before that.
Kuna jamaa ametoa ngoma Onyi Papa J. A 17-minute song. Bro. Ilikuwa for even after 4-5 months. Hiyo ndo ngoma
tulikuwa. Tuko ndani
kwa radio tu ya kijana ni hapo tu. Sisi tu hapo. Na hapo baadaye anachonga hasa wengine venye amewakata akaanguka huku. Hiyo analogy ya Raila ya futa.
Ya futa.
Now the thing is that song had a music video, right? And where they say Raila scores because anapatia sijui nani anageuka anapatia nani anaembarrass sijui nani. In that clip, yeah, I think it was a Chelsea game, and the person with the ball, of course, akatoa nduki, but then the thing actually does not score. It hits the post hivi alafu ikaenda, so it was a near miss. Bro, that thing became prophecy, bro, because kidogo stima zimepotea.
Wow. Someone is being so funny. It's madness.
There is, bro. Hey man, we just were locked. Tulienda to shopping once. Tukanunua vitu. We had cousins over for a period of time. I was supposed to be now going to Form 4. My brother is waiting for results. Shule hazijafunguliwa mpaka tuseme February. Yeah. It was sensitive that people go back to school. So I remember my mother insisted, mbona uko hapa kwa nyumba? Kwani wewe pia unaenda kuvaa kwa president, you get? Mimi mama alitoa opening day. I stayed home for like about a week, and then after that my mother said, I'm escorting you to school. Na namwambia bana shule hazijafunguliwa nini. Alitupeleka.
Na mkapata watu shule.
Kulikuwa na few. So tuliekwa dom moja.
Au likuja mapema.
Mimi nilikuwa naenda kwa candidate. Unajua mimi mamangu anaona masomo. Wewe ndio uanze kusoma hii maneno ya siasa haikuhusu. Unaelewa? Ndio uanze kusoma, watu wakupatake huko mbele.
I'd be so mad if I was the first student to be brought na mimi peke.
So tulibakishwa hapo and then after 1 week tena tukarudishwa home. Tukaambiwa ngojeni sasa gava iseme siku ya kurudi shule.
So uko ndani ya chuo mlikuwa na access to information. Did you guys know what was going on?
Z. Wow. And tulikuwa tunasikia tu from, because our school was actually very strict. So wasa wako nakuja na sijui mapalito sijui nini.
So hii ni maranda sasa?
Hakuna mtu mwenye anakuja na hizo vitu. So ni mwalimu ndo anawaambia. Ama ma grounds
workers and what not.
Anawaambia by the way hapa ni kunoma. Chaos bado sijui tunaambiwa ati kuna some people's ati watu wanaokotwa kwa mabarabara na Naivasha na mavichwa zikiwa bro.
It was crazy.
Sasa hizo mko shule. Amjui hata kitu
kama ni wenyu
mnaambiwa kitu kiwapata hapa mtafanya nini? Uzuri yeye ilikuwa Bondo, so it could not.
You were home.
Yeah, we were home.
Right. I think my cousin shielded me because I started finding out nini ilikuwa happen a bit later kama vitu zimetulia. Because me I was in a place called Chepelat. Umejua? It was Sotika hapo hivi. And then she used to work in a tea plantation. And you know the way they live huko ndani somewhere. So mimi nilikuwa huko, but nilikuwa nashinda, kwani mbona siendi?
Kumetulia sana.
Yeah, but also me I was just having fun. I was like, I'll just go. Ukiwa mtu huyu una follow directions. Utaenda sikutaenda. But then it was one of those kale kamekaa sana, but then I formed friends. So I didn't have much access to news. I think she was very intentional, alikuwa na hide because of course she knew what was going on. So I found out a bit later kama zimetulia. Nini
like a lot of people, if you are at a place or a part of the country where you are within, kama ni Mjaluo ulikuwa Nyanza, like ulikuwa unasikia story. So later on now, I would come to Boniface Mwangi's exhibition of PV.
And you see what was happening. You're like,
kwani nyi watu mlikuwa mnafanya nini? Because sisi kwetu, all I remember was the only people who were close to us were Kisis, right? And of course there were Kikuyus who were staying in Kisumu. In fact, there's this hotel called Kimwa Grand Hotel. It was owned by Kikuyus, but those people didn't even know Kikuyus. There were Kikuyus who had grown up in Kisumu, and they spoke Luo, right? And then kidogo unasikia those guys nyumba yao ilivamiwa. They were not killed, waliamba tu waende, right? Walifurushwa wakaenda. So, but then their business and everything was looted. That was happening everywhere, right? So, me, that's all I knew. I knew there was an IDP camp kidogo pale Kondele before people were wanasafirishwa. But that's all we saw. Now, you come to Nairobi, of course, you go back to school. There's a whole year, nini. And then I come to Nairobi now. I moved to Nairobi now in 2010. Unaangalia hizi vitu watu wanasema vitu zilikuwa zinafanyika. Ati watu walikuwa wanachomwa kama kanisa. Unashangaa bro, what do you mean? What do you mean people were doing all this?
I think it's necessary.
I had access to all that information firsthand because my dad, we were at home, TV is on full time, newspaper na buy zote. You know you can't trust at Daily Nation ama nini. So
so unachukua zote.
So then unaangalia hao wanasema nini because you don't know who's telling the truth. Then now you go back to school after Zili open, then everyone is telling you stories. You go to like, wow.
Yeah. That was a very dark, and it has, of course, it's one of those things in his legacy where people are conflicted about his
where
involvement.
He stood.
Not where he stood, about his involvement.
What was his involvement?
What do you mean standing and he was the guy vying? He's the guy who said...
So the question is, alibiwa kura, and then there was violence, right? So to what level is his culpability in this whole thing? So, but later on, I remember we were studying this again, of course, in school, and there was a lot of things that were, by the time post-election was happening, there was a lot of things that were bubbling under, especially around land. That's why land reforms in the new constitution was quite extensive. It was a lot about land. So you'll find people who are sharing resources or ancestral land. That is where a lot of the chaos were happening, right? So people were taking advantage of a situation, or they just needed a spark.
For them to
set everything up.
I think also we have to be honest about what exactly happened. I wish, because unless you see like now your exhibition ya Boni, I think, do you know how many people you speak to and bado wako ni kama tu na mimi, like we didn't see anything The most you've done is if you genuinely wanted to read and find the right articles. I mean, most people don't know, bro. Most people know it was just a dark time in Kenyan history. Because there was how many people were killed. People don't even know.
TV.
No one knows, bro.
I really hate the way... Sorry.
It was very censored,
Because Boni, you could see the thing, like this is someone's head, this is someone's body, this is someone...
Like a wrist.
Yeah. But on TV, everything is censored. On the papers, you just see someone's hand, but you don't see what is happening to their body.
Yeah.
So, you see, that's the thing that I also came to hate about, like, when people, like, when people were coming after Boni, of course, years later, they were saying that, you're using people's dark past to fresh our Zungu, what is it called? Sponsorships and all that.
But that's the
and yet this
reality of
guy
the
was out
situation.
there documenting all this history to show the gravity of the situation and how it had happened. So later on coming to say that he did that so that...
For personal gain is...
Because keep in mind, alikuwa kwa ground.
He was a journalist.
Alikuwa hivi.
Yeah. And a lot of these journalists who are going to all these violence-prone areas, they needed serious help after what they saw and what they witnessed and what they covered.
Siwezi ona saizi tumejiprick damu inatoka. I can't even stand that. Sasa imagine
How did you do with all this tattoo? Ulifanya aje?
Tattoo aukati kuchora tattoo. This is
I know, but still, like, you make it sound like even like something small.
Like I can't stand blood at all. Sasa imagine sasa nikiona eti msee ananyongwa, eti msee anakatwa kichwa. What?
Yeah. No, that's gruesome, but hey,
how do you just slaughter a human being? How does that even work?
You have to.
Anyway, 2010.
Exactly. Hiyo lazima tuende trip committee tusikie.
Hata sitaki kusikia.
I'm watch TV, honestly.
Anyway.
Tusikize president wetu akiongea.
Sasa
Bro, sina president of which country?
I know.
Anamaanisha Uganda.
Unatoka kwa moto, unaruka kwa oven.
Afadhali watu bakishe kwa must go, unaweza survive Uganda.
Kama suluhisho, M7 tuendelea.
2010-2013, as Prime Minister, Raila helped steer the adoption of Kenya's 2010 constitution, a landmark reform that strengthens democratic institutions. 3 years later, he loses the presidential election to Uhuru Kenyatta, challenging the result in court, but accepts the Supreme Court ruling upholding Kenyatta's victory. This is the first time he challenged it. So, I think you to discuss constitution, unless there's something else you guys want to add. Now, a new chapter after 2017-2018.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
After Kenya gets its new constitution, that's the time when... How long after that did South Sudan get its independence?
Not too
Aber
sure.
Judas, mulipata independence when?
Ulijulia Nakuru.
Aber, when did you get independence? For real?
It was the next year.
What? She doesn't know. 2010? Are you sure? Okay, Google.
I think it was just after that that they
I can
got
ask
independence. I don't know why, but those two events have happened almost concurrently. In my recollections.
9th July 2011.
So 9th July 2011. Are you
That
proud
was
of yourself?
the one next year.
2010.
I know.
Lakini hata jua got independence. 2010.
Anasema they. Ulikuwa tu Nakuru unakula chocolate.
Yeah. But Raila, I mean, she'll tell you off camera, but Raila was someone close to Aber's heart, apparently. 2017-2018, after losing to Uhuru Kenyatta again in the 2017 election, Odinga successfully petitions the Supreme Court to cancel the result. Also, this was a big moment, bro.
This was the
This is the Maraga moment.
Yeah, that was...
Ndio ilikuwa time ya kirudio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, ile time yenye the Supreme Court of Kenya
said we have
actually
Alisema
bro.
fresh
Then after
election.
that, we had Kumira. Sasa people were coming out to give Uhuru Kenyatta a birthday gift.
Yeah. But also, so this says, so the Supreme Court cancelled the result, a first in Africa. He boycotts the subsequent rerun, citing a lack of reforms, and later declares himself the people's president.
If you voted for him before, don't go out to vote.
Yeah.
So in 2018, he and Kenyatta publicly reconcile in a symbolic handshake that eases tensions and reshapes Kenya's political
Was this the
landscape.
time Miguna Sony him?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's two things.
That
here.
is the thing. Now mimi hapo 2017 hapo ndio penye baba alianza kunipoteza.
Yeah, same.
Because 2017 was particularly a very bad, now this I'm speaking as a Luo, was a particularly bad time for Nyamza, especially Kisumu, where I come from. And it was those ones where police, so before elections,
Body bags would be sent in advance.
Body bags were sent in advance. Police were deployed.
Yeah.
Where in Kisumu?
Yes.
And after,
Wait, so the government sent body
In
bags?
advance.
Body bags.
We at your elections are
And then after
starting
that,
in 2
people were
weeks.
being
Body
fished from the
bags.
lake like samaki.
Body
You
bags
get?
in
And
advance.
cops were storming into people's houses to beat people in your house so that you were out.
This is before the election.
Yes.
Okay, yes, but also after Mandamano Sasa.
Okay.
We're now
Because they know like there'll be
happened.
chaos for sure. They
Bruh.
just start sending stuff in advance.
In the comfort of your home, they walk in, beat you.
They were walking in to beat people in their
Was
houses.
this documented?
Yes, and reported. And that is where baby Pendo dies, baby Samantha dies. And they were saying that we are killing our own children so that you can get sympathy. See, that is what people were saying. So mimi 2017 hapo mimi na Uhuru ubeshtelish. I've never liked the guy up to mpaka sahi. And so when Baba decides that he's getting into a handshake with this guy,
Yeah.
I remember that was the time when after the tensions had eased, I went home. I went to Kisumu and I went to take a break. Oh, first, before we even get there. All this is happening, right? I called Boni. At that time, Boni had declared that he's retiring from activism. In a time when his wife and kids had to flee to America.
Yeah.
You guys remember that period?
Yeah, I remember that period.
So he had been like, hey, I got into this thing for my family's sake to fight for a better future for my kids. But now, again, for my family's sake, I have to retire. So I remember I was staying in the West and he was in Mada. So if you know the place, it's just across the road. I called him up, nikamwambia, bro, please to organize a demonstration, a peaceful demonstration. And we just ask for an end to police brutality. And then that's how we end up in Mandamano. And this was just, we were walking from Power to 54, coming down that road, tunatokea hapo hiyo junction ya, is that NSSF? Kenyatta Avenue, coming down like this, and when we meet cops. Of course, we had permits and all that. And mnafika hapo mnaambiwa permit yenyu imekuwa
revoked.
Yes, revoked. Now, you have to understand,
By word
this
of
is
mouth.
how I never understand. I don't know if I can ever get into politics because this was a protest. Yes, Boni was the figurehead, right? But if people didn't know, people up to now still don't, well, he's told this story before, that Mino nilimpigia simu. So, as we are protesting this thing, other people, including Luos, were like, hai, Boni anataka tu kukula pesa na jina yetu, nini. I hated that. And then that is on one hand. On the other hand, other folks on the other side were like, ai, hapana, maneno ya maandamano, this was just another maandamano. You get? So there was not a lot of public support for that, but that's when Boni now gets shot.
With the tear gas canister.
Yes, at that protest. Wali cancel, Boni akazusha, and then I remember it was a lady cop. Akasema, piga. Kidogo, I was behind him. Kamgonga hapa akanguka. So when he was shot, when the thing was fired, you hear the sound and then you scatter. Right? So all of us scatter. We didn't know that Boni had been shot. And then when now, I think Ngati is the one who started calling out that wameshoot Boni. At that time, what do you mean wameshoot Boni? Now you can imagine the level of guilt that I'm feeling at that time.
Oh my God.
We go check. He had been shot in the chest with a tear gas canister. And then he was taken to hospital, treated kidogo. That issue also became a problem when now needed to treat it properly and then insurance ikakataa.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the
it was the same
well.
wound. So of course after all that, mimi nimesema, nimechoka acha niende home nipumzike. So I went to Kisumu. And when I'm there, of course, I'd just started doing photography a bit more seriously. So I was showcasing town. And I remember posting about it. People were like, that is Kisumu. I'm like, hey, see, this is Kisumu. This is where we go. This is the lake. This is how beautiful it is. Nini. At that time, you come to realize that people's idea of what Kisumu is what they were seeing Pale Kondele during Mandamano. You get? So they've never, the idea of Kisumu is that.
Kondele.
Yes.
And it's always Kondele. Always Kondele. Well, Mandamano yuanza Kondele, sindio? Juko ndo 5 umeanza kuchoma tayari.
The thing about
and even wase wa news wanajua.
That's where to start.
Protest wanaenda Kondele.
Kondele, that's the hub.
It's a market. Okay.
So that's where everyone is. At the time, it's always been a market. Sasa imekuwa pushed towards mbele kidogo, but it's a market. Okay. It's a center where it's also a stage ya matatu.
Yeah.
And then it's also near certain low-income areas, right? So anything happening politically, of course, that's how people will congregate there.
Yeah.
And it's been an iconic place. Hapo ndo penye apparently Kenyatta alipigwa na
Mayai.
1969.
Kenyatta senior ama Kenyatta Uhuru?
Senior.
Okay.
Ile story ya Mayai.
Yeah, so it's always been a place to meet. Right?
Our next hangout in Kisumu has to be in Kondele. Tupatie venue. Bring our event to Kondele.
Hapo sijui penye mtafanya.
Hapo chini ya bridge.
Tunafanya ka crusade.
Yes, crusades happen there.
Chini ya hiyo bridge. Kwa tunaenda hapo.
When akina Reinhard Bonke came, hapo ndo penye wanafanya.
Hapo pia hata sisi tunataka greatness.
Hapo chini ya hiyo bridge.
Nasema ni BYOT, bring your own tie.
Anyway,
so mimi, that was my first
Maandamano.
That was the first time mimi na baba
ulianza
that, and then what came next, GBBI. Those were the times when sasa baba kaanza kunipoteza.
Yeah. So 2 main things here 2017-18. One is the Supreme Court for the first time ever, bro. I never thought I'd ever see that happen. And then now the handshake.
Yeah.
So this is now the first official handshake. Mpaka imeitwa tu handshake. Hata hujaita kitu kingine, imeitwa tu handshake. Then 2022-2024, backed by outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta, Odinga makes his 5th and last run for the presidency, but loses to William Ruto, conceding after initially challenging the result. Despite years of rivalry, he later strikes again a political deal with Ruto's government, with several of his allies joining the cabinet, a move that divides opinions among his supporters.
Now, that breakdown now, how did they just close over Mandamano finance bill? Have they mentioned it there? Because that's how Raila gets into broad-based.
Of course, ni kusummarize. Sasa sisi ndo kuchambua.
This is the reason why I just need us to tell our own stories. Because this handshake with Ruto does not happen without
Mandamano happening.
But we don't know.
No, it doesn't.
Bruh, we don't know.
At least
the reality is
not in the way it happened.
Okay, not in the way it happened, but for sure Baba would still have done a handshake.
That's what he was gunning for.
Yes.
Right?
Because remember, before Mandamano, the Mandamano that we all went for now, your finance bill, they were Mandamano, ilikuwa na sufuria.
Yes.
But for them, ilikuwa they were fighting for better living conditions for Kenyans. And also, kulikuwa na housing levy. Yeah, do you know the government was forcing things
housing levy was not yet.
This came after.
Ilikuwa better living condition. Maana kwa namba watu
watoke na masufuria
kwa kichwa.
Yeah. So Mandamano, Baba was already under ODM. They were already doing Mandamano.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Then
but those Mandamanos had died down.
Yes.
By the time we were getting to
finance
bill. Right?
Yeah.
And the first time, and this is also very key. That's why I don't want it to be closed over, because that's the time when now, for a long time, watu walikuwa nasema watu wa mtandao hawawezangi toka maandamano. And I remember there were a few times, there's a lady called Kasichana Riziki had called on a protest.
Kasichana.
Yeah, Take Back Kenya. Before we had Hanifa, we had Kasichana. People forget.
Where is she?
I mean, I don't know. Okay. So she had put out a protest called Take Back Kenya. Some people came, of course, tukapigwa tear gas. Ikaisha hivyo. That's the if you look for that Mandamano, you'll find me and Goofy alikuwa ameshikwa akipelekwa kwa
Hiyo ndio Goofy alisema hata maandamano.
That is the one. Goofy is the one.
Nitaandika poetry.
You know how much
So that guy waleka Goofy kwa hiyo
Mariam.
And that guy akamwambia by the way mimi leo nafaa kuangusha kama wa 4 wa 5. Right? That is literally you're being told live. Right?
Excuse me?
Ilikuwa moto tulienda tukapiga hiyo maandamano, but there was this, it was not as big, so but the general consensus was that middle class hawatokeangi maandamano. Nyinyi watu wa kuandamana social media, you cannot do anything. And so you can imagine when finance bill came out and there was a big uproar about it online, people like David Ndii were very like dismissive. You know, like at what did
iPhones
he say?
and Ubers.
I remember that he used to talk very carelessly. Right? And akina Ishungo alikuwa anasema after the first maandamano alikuwa anasema ati ni maandamano gani mnafika na Uber na mnatoka KFC. So it was very defining that number one, yes, now we had a maandamano that unified everybody regardless of class, creed or age. It was headed by Gen Zs, yes, but it was not just
Gen Zs. True.
And that's also another misconception that people have. True. Right? So people, the first one watu wakaenda. Hiyo nakumbuka nilipigwa mazee maji na ile water tank.
Ile maji ya pink.
Ya baby shower.
Bado wako wameleta hiyo strawberry.
Okay.
Bado ilikuwa vanilla. Bro, unajua ndio ujue hii
maji inakuanga moto.
But it has a lot of pressure.
Ni kama umepigwa ngumi.
It has a lot of pressure, so it can
throw you out.
Okay. Yeah. So I remember that first maandamano tulifika Cardinal Otunga. And then hapo ndo wakaeka barrier. Hiyo apale Intercontinental actually. So the moment wakafungua hiyo nini water cannon tukatoka mbio. Sasa watu wengine nao juu kukimbia kwa maandamano. Unaona, some people are scared, watu wanataka kufanya nini. In the end nikabaki nyuma because I was at the front. So of course wasa kitani kukimbia nyinyi mko nyuma. So kufika hapo Cardinal Otunga nikatantu hivi mazee nikaona lori inakuja na hiyo maji. Kaangushwa chini pamoja na another journalist akaribu kamera yake.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that was day 1. After that tukarudi tunatukanwa. That time my son was just 3 months old. So my wife is like, hey bro,
wachana nayo.
Nini. But now like tunaenda maandamano.
Adrenaline.
Ajua kuna 7 experience.
Oguna alianza kuandamana 1990. Unajua 7 ya kwanza ilikuwa wewe.
By the way, ukitutapo.
Kuja tu is done.
Magunga maandamano.
Nakumbuka there's a joke nilikuwa namaliza kuchange diapers alafu naenda kuchange inchi. Ndio kubadilisha inchi. Yeah, but tulikuwa tunaenda. I remember I think Dani pia alikuwa at the same time it was the same situation. The Kibunjas. Yeah, ilikuwa the same. So tunafika hapo tuna joke.
No.
Wife anasema aje? Kwa sababu
amejam.
Hata akijam.
Amejam tu nyote mmefungiwa hapo nje ndio mnachapia story.
Nakumbuka hiyo time ilikuwa but ilikuwa scary. Alafu wasa walikuwa wanachukuliwa na sasa hizo si ndio tumefanya ile campaign ya ku translate finance bill into different languages. Mimi nikafanya Kijaluo.
I sent that to everyone that I knew. And funny enough,
nikatuma alafu kidogo ati wase wako vocal wanachukuliwa. Nilikuwa nimeambia na kwa gate nika make like kwa mtaa yetu nilikuwa nimesha make like nikikujua hivi
exit point.
Nipigie nishameka kama exit point nakimbia aje nitaruka fence na wapi nipotelee wapi. Because that time bwana tuko online, Gabriel Oguna is literally tweeting about himself being abducted. Unaona tumeona Shadrack
Shad Khalifa.
Shad amechukuliwa South B. Unaelewa?
Damn.
Shada amechukuliwa na mimi nimekuwa hapo tu hapo mbele tuna post tunaenda nini. Kwanza nakumbuka ya pili yenye tulijaza tao. Tulikuwa masalamu zimetumwa nini.
Mimi nataka tu kusema whoever was making those posters, big up to you.
Yeah.
Si tulikuwa naamka tu tunapata poster. Na uzuri zilikuwa same look and feel.
Tuesday and Thursday.
Mpaka instructions.
Tuesday and Thursday.
Whoever you are, what a legend.
Tuesday.
Very ready for Tuesday.
What a legend.
But nakumbuka, there was a Sunday, there was just an impromptu maandamano. Wasa kusema hii sasa maandamano to announce maandamano. Tunakuja Sunday, tunakuja ku announce Tuesday, mkwe ready. But that was the one for leading up to now the 25th.
Yeah, things went.
No, when Parliament
goal was
occupied.
the goal.
Again,
the
a first
crescendo.
for this country,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, and we have to admit, even in all his mandamanos, Raila's
Never.
mandamanos, never did
Never.
they ever get to
Yeah.
Parliament.
Never.
That's
But
the
now
one
in
that-
his death, people question if this guy actually wanted to lead a revolt.
He would
He
have
would have.
easily.
That's why
Easily.
remember when I was saying I don't remember who, but alisema leaders, all politicians around the world take power by all means. Raila was not that politician. Because
Yeah.
if you go by all means, come on.
It's
Bruh.
easy for him, yeah.
So the moment he
Would have been.
ingears into that handshake, Gashago is ousted. Of course, there's a vacuum.
Yeah.
Watu wa Raila wakaingizwa. That
Akina
was-
Joho ndo sasa wakaingia kina Mbadi.
But also, I don't know why we say he killed the finance bill protest, because the finance bill was,
It was not about him. Yeah.
it was no, but it was. See, Ruto took it back.
But I'll tell you the impact that he made. The idea is whether the finance bill was taken back, but also remember at the expense of how many people died, bro. At the expense of how many protests that were unnecessary. That's one. Even when I remember the lady was selling baba like, tuachie, you've done enough. Leave
Anini.
this to us."
Anini.
And at that time, we knew that if we needed to look at politicians for help, for whatever reason,
We know
would
who
have
to
gone
look
Baba.
up to. Yeah.
All right, so bro, I feel like Magunga said a bunch of things. We have a technical issue. Yeah, Magunga, just summarize.
No, so it's up until you was talking about. The idea was that if it was anybody, it would have been Baba, because Baba had been supporting the cause all along.
Yes.
That he sent some money. I didn't even know that he was even
I'm just discovering
providing
that.
some money.
Yeah.
I remember the tweets that he was making in support.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, his people, sasa kina Sifuna, it was a terrible time to be on set with Sifuna Palace Citizen
Hey.
asubuhi. How do you tear the sabadi?
How?
Sifuna alikuwa na
Sifuna alikuwa anagonga. So in the end, when now Baba comes in and because the conversation had moved from finance bill, reject finance bill, to
now
must go.
drain the
Ruto
swamp.
must go. Yeah, Ruto must go. Like sasa to attack
Hatutaki
you completely. At that point, sasa, it was getting fever pitch, especially after that 25th. He went and did a handshake, which came as a
Shocker to everyone.
all of
Like,
us,
what?
because at this point we were united in one.
Yeah.
And then Baba akaita jeshi lake, akawambia nyinyi sasa msimame. Now that becomes tricky, because if you go out, we had a common enemy, now you have to fight two other people.
Yeah.
And then when you politicize the whole thing, it
Loses
dilutes the
meaning,
message
yeah.
and the reason for, you get. And then of course watu wenye waliingia serikali sasa hawataki kuongea mbaya, you don't eat with your mouth open.
Of course.
Right? So it's bad table manner. So it became, it fizzled out. But the betrayal is what
Stings to this day.
because it was such a, that was such a betrayal, man.
It was as simple as, this is what we are demanding. And you're the person that hopefully if it gets to a point where we need representation in parliament,
You're the one.
also, yeah, and then we are going to turn to you. But sasa you're in bed with this guy, which means
We are
sasa
left
nyinyi
to
agenda
ourselves,
zenu,
literally.
tunaweka agenda yake na agenda yako tunaweka pamoja, because now it felt like we are left alone.
To your own devices, bro.
Yeah, so-
it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people held that in their hearts
To this day.
until he passed away. And then it's when he passed away, of course, at first there were people who were indifferent to it.
I was, to be honest, at first. I was like, I don't, let's just say there's a lot of confusion first, because, you've seen what you've seen on Twitter. First, you're thinking, is it true? Is it propaganda? What's going on? Till I see it on TV. So I sat with myself and I'm like, what? Okay. I was like, okay.
You're indifferent.
Yes. At first, I was like, okay. So now the next day, is when I was just like, okay, wow. Like,
This is really
this dude is
happened.
actually gone.
Yeah.
38 years and then these two can really take back everything.
Siniliona kuna that tweet online that someone said, I don't remember exactly what, but alisema, yani unaweza kuwa umefanya such good things your whole life and people know you as the good person, but ukamwa tu kudunya mbuzi
When
once.
now you're a goat farmer.
You can fuck 1,000 women.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
fuck one goat,
And then
you're
you
a
fuck
goat
one
farmer.
goat again.
You're a goat farmer.
Unajua Chaxy mgani wa Wambo? Nani wa Kenya? Ile mbuzi
Anyway, during the same yeah. But kama ni magoats. Anyway, so
unadai kukula nyashi.
Dole mtu amekula goat ni ai.
kama ni maserena, you know what I mean?
No. No.
Yeah.
Once you're going to hell.
Anyway,
The other one.
we moved on.
Ulifilaje venye alipass?
When I sat with myself, I think I respected his entire life. I looked at him as someone who did all these good things, but also someone who genuinely betrayed us last year. And someone who, even till when he passed, I didn't know. Like, saizi ungeniuliza after 2027, if Rawa was alive, what would have happened? I don't know. Do you know?
No,
He became too unpredictable. But with all these handshakes that were happening, especially at the expense of a fight that we were having, a fight that tuna feel we were picking
Was
from
for a
when he
greater
left.
cause, yeah.
I don't know, man. So, but that did not prevent me from also honoring every single thing that he's done.
Absolutely.
So I genuinely just look at Agwambo as the person that he really was. And that's even when I was doing the prep, I was like, we'll be honest about how we feel, but also really honor the legacy of one of the greatest leaders of this nation.
And big mouth.
So whatever happened last year doesn't take away from everything he did.
True.
So that's the thing. You see what
Like,
you
it's a
just
very
said.
conflicting place to be in.
The thing that you've just said, many people will disagree with you that it actually does erase the contribution that he made.
And I respect that.
I don't know if I agree with them, but many people will be like, no. Actually,
He did.
It seems like this is a pattern for you, and it kind of does erase.
Yeah.
Right. So, but for me, I wanted him out of politics. I wanted him gone out of politics, not dead. That's what I.
That's where I was
came to
heading.
realize, right?
You can feel however you want to feel about him, but I feel like wishing him death or celebrating that he's dead, now that's a little bit extreme.
Yeah. To me, I don't think anything would ever erase anything because he actually did do all those other things. True. So in my mind, there's no way that can be erased. It can change how I look at you.
Yeah.
And maybe I can question some of the moves you made.
Absolutely.
But how can it erase something that someone actually did? Okay,
Like, that's your
even
stamp.
if you change, bro. Even Mwangi, if tomorrow you decide to become a bad person, I'm like, before you became a bad person, Mwangi was who Mwangi was.
True.
Yeah.
So I don't think that will erase who you ever was. I can look at you different, but how can it change what Raila did, bro?
So that's the question is, are heroes supposed to be saints?
No.
Can saints even be heroes?
No.
Raila is a human being. Bro, all these people,
All this-
even must go, is a fucking human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hiyo yake tusiongelele.
I know. But yani nilikuwa
Emotions go hivi.
I was just giving you the extreme to show that.
Mr. Givinji.
Anyway, so the other thing within the same period, with backing from Kenya and several African leaders, Odinga contests the African Union top post, but loses to Djibouti's Mahmoud Ali. In 2025, he dies aged 80 while recovering treatment in India, marking the end of So the African Union thing was also something that I think was a big thing.
Me, I was happy he didn't get it.
Same
At
here.
that time, I was
We
feeling so
covered
much
it.
pain.
Yeah, same here. As we were feeling pain, but also we were feeling very shortchanged.
Yeah.
And also tulikuwa tunajiuliza, tuko like this guy is at the time he was 79 or 80.
Yeah,
Soma alikuwa
79.
80.
Yeah.
So ulikuwa najiambia, how can us as an African continent keep pushing 8-year-olds in positions that, bro, 8-year-old one mtu analala kama, huyo ni kama Simba, analala 20 out of 24 hours.
No, when you think about how politics has come to shape how politics has evolved. Think back to like someone like Tom Mboya. He was in his 20s when he was chairing African Congress for labor rights in Ghana. Right? Na hiyo time akiland Ghana ametoka UK for another, and this is someone in their 20s. How many 20-year-olds do we have
who are chairing such positions?
Now, for me, the question is the lack of continuity in our politics. The people who started very young, had the opportunity to start very young and proceed, but they have overstayed.
True, and they clearly don't want to let it go.
They've overstayed, and unfortunately, Raila, for whatever reason, is one of the people who overstayed. I feel like Raila should have retired earlier. Though that's not a very popular belief amongst my people. Though it is what it is. His brother is
82.
G5. Is it 82 or 85?
He says he's 82.
This age keeps changing all the time.
The reality ni what was let's do 40s 30s hata wao wajui.
It's
true though. At one estimating
because there will be a problem of transition, right? Because sasa how do you Kalonzo kipiga hesabu tuseme Kalonzo is eyeing 2032 and then he finishes in 2042. Yeah. How old will he be?
That is 17 years from now.
Yeah.
So already if
let's say he's the preferred candidate for then, like let's just guess. How old will he be? Yeah. So there needs to be a way to allow people to... A new generation needs to be led by its own people.
What our proposal was, and we literally covered this last week, tulisema age of retirement should apply to politics.
Politics too.
So that ikifika 80, the best is an advisory position. Because of course you have lived experience.
True.
Bro, you lived experience, you have to live it.
True.
We can get that from you. But you have a president who's supposed to be in charge of a whole country at 80. Cameroon 92 hata msee zitambia. What the fuck?
He doesn't even know what day it is.
They're sending anatuma sanamu.
Who campaigned?
Hata Museveni did the same thing. Ati Museveni riding a bicycle.
On top of a car. Like what is that?
Bro, you're clinging on. Bro,
age of retirement needs to apply to politicians.
No.
Hata kama extendiwa past 60.
No, that's where the problem is. Extending it to 60. You start lying about your age. No. Go.
Itakuwa kama African football.
Nigga is 32 with a 30-year-old son. How? Let's be serious.
Your son is your twin.
Usiongele vibaya our youth leader. Unajua youth leader ni nani? Total orphan. Unataka kuchomea total orphan.
Youth leader
he's too young to retire. He's going for his second term for senator.
This nigga was asleep this
during Gachagwa's
this last 72 hours he's been asleep.
Alikuwa amelala during Gachagwa's impeachment in Senate.
Even the services.
He just stayed up late enough to vote for Gachagua to go, then he went.
Then he left.
Yani hiyo ni personal. Hiyo ni personal hating.
Umata kulala.
Yani mniambie tukivote.
No, even when Ruto was announcing Baba's passing, he was literally falling asleep na amesimama. I'm like, sasa ukianguka na nyuma surely.
It's like hiyo video at sijui
It's madness.
Hiyo kelele yote kwa barabara alafu ukiwa parliament unakuwa.
Alafu mse, unajua he's never spoken in parliament.
Never.
Mpaka tulikuwa najiuliza constituency yake haona any needs
No.
kwa representation.
Unataka kuniambia hakuna nini?
But alikuwa parliament na alifika on time. Alifika ndio akaanza nimefika hii.
We really need to have that conversation about letting younger people.
I agree.
If anything, they need to maybe as you say, these guys to be on advisory
position, which is fine. Anyway, so for the interest of time, I wanna get your opinion on a few tweets I got online just to get a reaction. But I wanted to also acknowledge how Naivas and Kenya Airways honored Baba.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yes. Naivas, all stores stopped the operations at exactly 1 p.m. in honor of the late Raila Odinga, observing a 3-minute moment of silence. And then they played Jamaica Farewell afterwards. And during that 3 minutes, they played the national anthem.
Beautiful.
And if you look at the videos, it's very heavy. And then Kenya Airways, bro.
Yeah.
Even from changing the names to them, the singing.
Yeah.
The Kenya Airways, honestly,
They did
the only thing Kenya Airways has done right in the last year.
The first pride.
The first pride.
Alikuwa anaambia this time this is the one flight mkipoteza luggage ni nyinyi.
And they handled it well. Otherwise.
Kuna kupoteza luggage na kuna kuchelewa. Juu unajua timeline ilikuwa tight hiyo 72 hours.
Na kubomolewa.
But they did so well.
Honestly.
They did so well.
So I want to get a reaction to Ali_Naka. I repeat, I do not mourn any African leader who dies abroad. Worse, if seeking medical treatment, I don't. We keep it moving.
Okay.
That's,
fair enough.
I mean,
Me, I don't.
personal reference. That's how you feel bad.
That's how you feel.
Yeah. But also, genuinely, lawmakers, these are the guys who literally make the laws that govern this country. They have access to a lot of resources. And you look at some things that are basic needs like healthcare.
Yes.
And you look at how it's being handled, even till now with the billions of shillings being embezzled at SHA, healthcare just being a problem.
Yeah.
The other day tulikuwa nasema in Kenya ndio hospitali unachajiwa kila kitu mpaka syringe. You know, everything is so when you look at this and then you look at how much power they would have to make something like healthcare very accessible to people, genuinely speaking, if we had, because the leaders have the chance to have even the best healthcare in Kenya.
Yeah.
If we had that, would our leaders still need to fly abroad?
So the only thing I'll say to that is that Raila has never been president. All these things they're saying that he went abroad to seek medical treatment. Well, he could have done the same for his country. He's never been given the opportunity.
But Raila doesn't need to be president to make a change in healthcare.
So and that's the weight of responsibility we put on him for a role that he doesn't have.
Who has the most members of parliament in parliament? Who has the most MPs? And what does it take for such policies? What does it take for such?
And then it was UDA last election.
But still, he has a considerable...
Yes, I agree.
But what does it take for us to have better healthcare? It's just policies.
True.
So the
Who
thing
makes
is,
those things?
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Raila is a civilian. I know he's not a civilian like the rest of us.
Civilian.
But is Raila really a civilian? Let's be honest.
He died as
On
civilian.
paper. But honestly, with the handshakes, with the broad-based government, how much, genuinely speaking, how much of a civilian is
He's a high rank.
I understand that tweet if you're talking about someone who was president or someone who was like,
who was truly in a position where they can...
He was also PM. Let's not forget that.
He was PM
he was MP
for the 5
how many
years. He was PM. But now, at that time, you guys don't remember what... Ukumbuke wakipigania mpaka nini carpet na choo. It was more ceremonial than anything because there was even a conversation whether or not he has control over government or parliament business. So that tweet, I saw it. I was
The
like,
tweet
okay,
makes
fair enough.
sense,
I don't want
but
to
I
get
know
into
what you
it.
mean,
yeah.
But the guy who we're talking about here has never been.
Okay, honestly, I respect your perspective and that makes sense. But in a general sense, the tweet makes sense as well. Like, guys, you have the chance to change things here, but you just spend our money to go elsewhere when
you could fix things here.
It's like how you see hospitals in Kenya being launched. It's just the facade is painted nicely, alafu kuna wards zimewekwa tu vitanda vizuri.
Alafu
80% of the hospital haijapigwa plaster. Yani ile yenye itatokea kwa TV.
But also there is a thing about launching rooms in the name of it being a hospital. A hospital is not just a room and a bed. It's machinery. It's people who are manning it. It's all these things, amenities. So that's some nonsense.
It's showmanship too.
Hanifa was the first one to tweet. What happens to Kasmuel now?
So, if you are in Siaya or Bondo, Kasmuel has a lot of goodwill in ODM, right? One thing about my community is they have gratitude. They remember. They don't forget loyalty. So, he has a lot of goodwill. From people like Wanga and the rest who are right now controlling what goes on where. So what next for him? He might be endorsed for a seat or nominated somewhere. I don't think, as people think, that he's going to just fizzle out.
I think Kasmuel will be in the next government, whether nominated or elected.
Whichever.
Or appointed.
I'll skip some. Bernard Kavuli, the death of broad-based government. What do you guys think it's going to happen?
No.
Is it?
It's the beginning, if anything.
Okay.
I that's what I think, because
it feels
as it
so
is
true.
now, the dissenting voices in ODM
very clear. They will
very
leave. They are
clear.
continuing where Baba left
But
them.
they're not that many.
That's
Akina
the problem.
You see, Orengo and Nyong'o are old.
Yeah.
They don't have the energy to fight it out.
True.
Unfortunately, Sifuna is
And
there
Babu.
fighting it. Babu, of course, is fighting it.
Yeah.
But in the end, it will just be what will the party resolve?
Yeah.
And then, what
Moves.
That's it.
There is a lot at stake.
I
There's so
know.
much. That one is
I
very
know.
unpredictable,
There's so
for
much.
sure.
There is so much at stake when everyone was talking about broad-based at the funeral.
Yeah.
You
Hapo
could
kwa-
tell there was a lot of
Aye.
contention.
But I was listening to what people were saying hapo kwa grao, and then naingia online, alafu narudi nasikiza kenye nasema enyewe huku tunakuanga saa zingine tuko
Because I saw
tuko zetu tuko chemba saa zingine.
I saw someone else say, expect Sakaja to be deputized by Winnie in 2027, and that's how he'll. Anyway, sorry for another day.
As the governor for Nairobi.
For Nairobi, yeah.
Yeah, that would
But also, even way before Baba died, we had said it. Sakaja is going to vie governor under the ODM ticket.
But
There was
right
a
now
lot
with
of, there was a lot of
this,
things going on. In fact, Baba, the way now they're saying penye Baba alituacha ndo penye tumebaki.
yeah.
Penye Baba aliwaacha was, in terms of Nairobi governorship, was with Sakaja.
Sakaja.
That's why he bailed him out.
Alimsave hata, yeah.
The other day. Sorry.
the impeachment.
That's why he bailed him out. So there is that narrative.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't agree with it. I think it's some nonsense.
True.
I just hate the fact that we are coming down to choose either between Sakaja or Babu. I'm like, sasa,
Where are we? Like, we are fact on both ends anyway.
You know,
I'm like, sasa
We
tunafanya
are
nini?
fact on
Kwa
both
grill
ends.
directly, tunatania tu.
Nikuchome hii side ama hii side.
Unataka side gani?
Equally.
Right? Unataka side gani?
At Nyamisa _ Chela said, sahi ukiomba Baba aliye mbinguni, you'll have to specify which one.
No, for real though.
Lakini Wakenya niulize, mnakuanga normal? Do you ever see some tweets uko tu like, uko wapi sahi nikuje nikupige ngoto?
Then at Alinaka, the same guy ule hospital alisema their money is in foreign banks, their properties in foreign land, their children are in foreign schools, they die in foreign hospitals. What are you mourning for? NTV.
Again.
So
Venye utataka.
Yes.
So this is again, so Professor David Kodia, Bishop of the Anglican Bondo Diocese. Baba never used the power of money to intimidate people. Today we have bad manners amongst our politicians. They have taught our people the culture of handouts.
Yes,
Is that the
Pastor
the bishop who
yes.
at Nyayo?
Yes. Ali inject
And
water
then,
too.
but you guys know, after that, he says Farouk sent...
No, that was an
that
old
was in
video.
2020.
That was an old
Yes.
Yeah, that was in 2023.
So, you see again propaganda, man.
That was a very
the
old.
problem of disinformation is going to be a huge factor in 2027.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Cambridge Analytica?
I remember Cambridge.
Now just think of it 10 times with AI and
But the good thing is,
misinformation.
but also the good thing with AI is now you can check
Confirm
if
if it
something
is.
Kwanza with your Grok, easy. You don't even need to Google. Unaweza tu, is this
this
video
AI?
current? Ama is this, yeah.
But Grog lies a lot of the time.
For real.
Yes,
it's been improving.
so many times.
But also, it's expected because they're testing. But I can imagine, say in the next 5 years, they'll have so much information on CC. It's going to be as accurate as possible.
I want to hope.
Actually, that is one
But
segment
Sinivo too.
that is going to affect almost
A lot.
every sphere.
Yeah.
Creative arts, we have work to do. Politics-wise, you can see.
Grok chako tunauliza, is this true? Inatuambia this is not true. Alafu unauliza Grok, is what you said true? Inakwambia this is true.
Yeah.
Baki top.
Anyway, so as we finish, I'm gonna. I don't think what happens now. I think let's leave that. So I wanna finish with tributes. You have a phone here.
Yes.
Please get Boniface Mwangi's tribute, and then Auntie get Hanifa's tribute from her ex. Just go to media
From her
photos.
ex?
No, you go to Instagram.
Platform.
Oh, from the useme Twitter, nani aitange next. Nadhani mnatafuta ex
Magunga
wako.
Hill.
Yeah, so I just picked those three because I think they summarize. It's gonna be. Let me show you.
Hill boy.
The sort of some so I'm gonna begin with Lynn Ngugis. So she begins by saying, a new report reveals the late Raila Odinga is the only top politician who never sued the media, even if criticized. That one line says a lot about who Raila was, a man who believed in the power of free speech, even when it worked against him. He understood that leadership wasn't about silencing voices, but about listening, especially when the truth was uncomfortable. To mourn Raila Odinga is to remember the father of Kenyan democracy, a man who spent his life fighting systems that wanted to break him and still showed up every single time. He might have had his flaws. Yes, he was human after all, but there will never be another Raila, a man who turned pain into purpose, defeat into movement, and criticism into courage. He taught us that democracy isn't given, it's fought for, that freedom isn't free, it's earned through sacrifice, patience, and endless resilience. For decades, he stood where others feared to stand. He faced imprisonment, exile, betrayal, and still came back with the same message: Kenya must be free. And maybe that's why this loss feels so personal, because Raila wasn't just a politician. He was a symbol of resistance, of hope, and of dreams that outlived generations. He carried the voice of millions, inspired loyalty and criticism in equal measures. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes, took risks, and sometimes got it wrong. But he never stopped believing that Kenya could be better. And that belief alone changed this country forever. That's Lynn Ngugi's.
That's fair.
it.
Boniface Mwangi says, as Baba is laid to rest today, we can all agree he's lived a remarkable life. He made tremendous impact in Kenya and beyond, inspiring millions. History will be kind to him despite some of his failings and compromises he made. He was human after all. The reason some loved him passionately while others hated him, even in death, is that he stood for something. You can never be loved or hated if you stand for nothing. Raila Amolo Odinga stood for something. It is important to note that Uhuru and Ruto, who are crying the loudest today, demonized him the most during his life when they ran against him. They called him a Mganga, a madman, and relentlessly vilified him. During the 2013 and 2017 presidential elections, Cambridge Analytica and BTP advisors, two British firms specializing in public relations and political strategy, were contracted to manage Uhuru's and Ruto's campaigns. Their efforts, characterized by manipulative and divisive tactics, focus on data-driven psychological operations, disinformation and smear campaigns to undermine Raila's reputation and sway voters. The firms seeded divisive narratives online, amplifying ethnic tensions to favor Uhuru and Ruto's campaign. Their messaging exploited fears of instability under Raila's leadership, stoking tribal divisions and spreading propaganda to secure electoral advantage. These two men, accused of crimes against humanity, murder, and displacement of people, won, quote unquote, against Raila, a man who spent time in jail, 9 years in jail across multiple detentions under harsh conditions, including solitary confinement, fighting for Kenya. They unleashed negative advertisements and online propaganda, spending billions to portray Raila as a devil and to steal elections. Tragically, tens of Raila's supporters were murdered and others maimed by Uhuru and Ruto's regimes after protesting the election's outcomes. How and why Raila forgave them, only God knows. In 2022, as we campaigned for Raila with Azimio, we had to keep clarifying that Raila never said or did things evil Uhuru and Ruto accused him of, and that he attended the church. Despite our efforts, Raila refused to play the church card because he rejected that level of hypocrisy. He didn't pretend to be a Christian to garner votes. He practiced his faith quietly and campaigned on issues. The man who pretended to be a Christian has become Githinji, a butcher of children. The attacks extended to accusing Raila of terrorism, even after 2014 Lamu terror attack. If they could have had their way, they might have silenced him permanently, but nobody could touch Raila. However, he was overly surveilled, trailed, and continually betrayed by those he trusted the most. His supporters, however, were treated like trash by those in power, even after the regrettable deaths and injuries of his supporters at Kasarani and Nyayo Stadium in the past 3 days. The state has offered no apologies or acknowledgement. Immediately after Raila died, Ruto signed the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Amendment Act 2024 into law on October 15th, 2025. Ruto's regime, which has a habit of abducting and killing young people, wants to start jailing people for memes and TikTok videos. Journalists and whistleblowers can now be accused of cybercrime, of cyber harassment and spreading false information and face jail time. The rights Raila and others fought for are being taken away even before his body is laid to rest. So see beyond Ruto's crocodile tears and look for his actions. Ruto is coming for us, those who are fighting for a better Kenya, and we better have the courage and fortitude of Raila to defend our country from the emerging dictatorship of Kasongo. To all OCM Giluth, OCM Giluth is what used to call leaders who depended on Raila. To all of them, hasa mjipange, Baba amepumzika. Baba has now joined the ancestors. May he find rest, peace, and joy, and joy in the afterlife. May he dance to his favorite lines and favorite tunes with them until we meet again, Jacom Komathayo. It's now upon us to fully liberate Kenya, and ensure we elect leaders who love Kenya and serve us with respect and decency. Enda uchukue kura. Boniface Mwangi, a 2027 presidential candidate, served as a volunteer in the Azimio Presidential Secretariat during Kenya's 2022 general election.
So, because Hanifa is too long,
I'll just read the last bit.
Us,
okay.
From there.
Okay.
But it's available on Hanifa's socials for anyone who wants to read the whole piece.
Yeah, anybody who has, I think it's a Sunday paper, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I don't know what paper this is, but yeah, you can get it. Anyway, Hanifa says, to us, the headline is, here's what Baba's death means for Gen Zs. Okay, it's long, so let's get to it. She says...
That's where she begins to summarize everything she said, yeah.
So she says, to us, Raila Odinga was not one thing. He was everything at once. The fighter, the reformer, the deal maker, the dreamer, the disappointer, the forgiver. He embodied both the best and the contradictions of Kenya. And maybe that's why his death feels so personal. Because whether you loved or doubted him, you cannot tell the story of this country without his name. It's easy to declare betrayal on social media, but I keep thinking about what it means to carry a country's hope for decades, to be the vessel of millions of dreams that never came true. That must be very heavy. Maybe joining the government wasn't weakness. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe he was trying in his own way to find peace, the kind that he had fought for his whole life. Still, for Gen Zs, his story leaves an unfinished question. What now? With Raila gone, who will carry forth the courage to challenge power? Who will dare speak for the people without seeking a seat at the table in return? If his generation fought for political liberation, ours must fight for moral liberation, freedom from fear, corruption, and hypocrisy. And perhaps in that sense, Raila's legacy lives on not in how he ended, but in how he began, as a man who dared to believe that citizens could reclaim their country. Maybe that's a Raila we should remember, not the politician who joined or left alliances, but the spirit that refused to be silenced. Raila who taught us that change, however delayed, is always possible. Because in the end, even if he didn't walk with us to the finish line, he built the road that we now march on. And that, perhaps, is what this moment means in our history, a changing of guards. A baton has fallen, and it is upon us, the generation that both loved and questioned him, to pick it up and continue the race.
Wow. Okia, I just read one line from Okia Mtatas. He said history will remember him as a man who walked where others feared to stand. Also, Okia posted something that you can check on his social. Also, found out he was the 12th or 13th grandson of Nabongo Mumia.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. There's a whole thing, there's a whole chat on X as well. Yeah, man. Lastly, there was 101 tribute songs. So... Yeah, I mean, I know what you'll say, but acha watu agree venye wanataka, you know. I know, but I'm just against the ones who are using that for clout. Bro, for Bahati,
let's get 200K.
That's for Bahati posted and said, bro, like I just broke a new YouTube record, 500K views in how long? Thanks to Baba.
That's what I'm saying. Let's not put it on grief.
Anyway,
some people are just idiots.
Anyway,
zingine main character na jingine ni.
Yeah. Kuna hizo, but for those who genuinely, felt within themselves to make songs like in tribute, man, so much respect to.
In the words of YY.
Because this is podcasters. This is how we've chosen to honor him. Still, musicians, what?
Musicians sing.
Yeah, they sing, bro.
You podcasters.
We talk.
We pod.
Yeah.
Let's get to 200k views.
For Baba.
This is going to be the
For
most
Baba.
watched Mic Check episode. Do it
For Baba.
Baba.
If that happens, and that is the one I'm on. Listen, I've always wondered what I was, if I ever come to this couch.
You know me.
I've always wondered what I would come say.
You know me, I see your tweets about the pod. The last tweet ulisema ni you didn't mention it in Mic Check, but I knew you're talking about us. Ilikuwa ile conversation at DJs na promoters. Ulikuwa like, huyo mama ningekako. And I knew you're talking about that episode.
Sasa utarudi tuongee stories za Magunga.
Bro, of all the things I ever imagined
that
I would
episode.
talk, yes.
I know.
Of all the things I ever thought I would come to this podcast to talk about, it never occurred to me it would be about Raila
I
or
know, man.
politics.
Yeah.
Of any kind.
But karibu tena. Sasa we'll have you now and talk about other
Anyway,
things.
this episode has been brought to you by Brand X. Try Brand X on your...
But for real, thank you so much, bro. Because also this was very, short notice. Because I was trying to reach you earlier,
Yeah.
but I didn't know you switch numbers, will boycott Safaricom, nini. So thank you for honoring the invite. On short notice.
I'm curious, sorry, I forgot to ask. How was the drive down to... What was the mood in the car?
Honestly, ilikuwa usiku si tulilala. No, for real, because we were tired. It was at 1 a.m.
Okay, I can imagine.
Yeah, so that's why we even had someone to drive us there. But
Yeah.
I mean, I got to, by the time we were getting to Kisumu, those guys kept vigil the whole night, waiting for Raila's body to come. The whole night. Hawakulala.
Yani Luo people commit to everything but women. Mnaweza kaa usiku
And
mzima
Baba.
tu ukifanya hizo
And
mambo.
Then Baba. Yeah.
Baba, women and
Baba
Baba.
mostly.
Yeah, Baba, bro.
Baba is where we commit. But no, he said we commit to everything.
Everything.
Baba to
Yeah.
him. man.
Because I'm sure kuna mtu
Fuck you, man.
alifuata hiyo.
Wewe ni mbwa. Wewe ndo wanguro.
Oh, man.
Hey, niko sure kuna mtu angetembea na hiyo convoy kutoka whatever that place is.
That was the plan.
Listen,
After
from
kukesha the whole
people
night.
walked from the airport
Two.
Kasarani.
Yes.
So and they were willing to go even further. Kama ongeza enda Mumbai.
Wangeenda.
Ungepata tu watu Indian Ocean tu.
Swimming wakilia Baba.
Kwani hamna boat?
You say that as a joke, but I don't put it past somebody to try.
To do it
Yes.
true.
Me the morning videos that I saw. Kwanza ule mwenye amevaa jazi ya Arsenal analia. Kwanza ujue itakuwa tu meme sasa.
Bro, unasema ule mwenye alikuwa analia then akana Lilian Muli akapiga selfie
No,
akamsalimia.
Lulu Hassan.
Then akaendelea ilikuwa sorry
Lulu
Lulu
Hassan.
Hassan. Then akaendelea tu come on like nothing
It's
has
called the
happened.
duality of man.
Oh shit. I better send me the video as we finish. That video, yeah, that kitendawili.
Hey.
Okay, let me play it. And then ndio hiyo.
Ishi kwa mwili ya binadamu.
Audio. Okay.
Ishi kwa mwili ya binadamu, lakini ana tabia ya kinyonga. Nani hiyo? Nani hiyo? Mmeshindwa. Unipate mimi mji basi. Kibra. Sawa. Hiyo ni nywele. Si unajua wasiwasi wa nywele? Akiwa kwa kichwa inaitwa nywele. Akiteremka hapa inaitwa nyuzi. Lakini bado ni nywele. Akiingia kwa macho hapa inaitwa kope. Bado ni nywele. Akiteremka hapa inaitwa shurubu. Lakini bado ni nini? Akifika hapa inaitwa ndevu. Bado ni nini? Ikifika hapa kwa kifua inaitwa malaika. Bado ni nini? Lakini ikiingia kwa kwapa na huko chini niliambiwa, lakini nimesahau.
What a man.
What a charismatic man.
Niliambiwa lakini nimesahau.
Kikuyus do better. Kikuyus ni enjoy room.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
you got it.
But also, genuinely, it's impossible to cover all the essential things about Raila in just like we've done maybe almost 2.5 hours. We have 1 minute. 2 hours plus, unajua. But I think we've given a very nice overview. And again, karibu tana, will invite you, bro. Thank you so much
Now we'll talk
for
about
being here,
Magunga.
man. Yeah, now we can talk about Bunda.
Tutagusia Raila kidogo pia. Because tutakuwa na questions and comments. But we'll dedicate the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
To Magunga.
Na pia sasa we can discuss ile Sabasaba 1990 vizuri.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The visuals will be ready.
yeah, we'll come with pictures.
Kwanza we'll ask checkmates watuambie copy yenye tutaandika kwa hizo manila paper.
Macha wazimu.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Asante. Thanks for
Appreciate you,
having me.
man.
Mtu ananunua wapi kitu umevaa kwa kichwa?
Hii inaitwa Legesa. Hii ni nilipata Kisumu. Yeah.
So nikienda Kisumu naweza nunua.
Yeah.
Watu wangu wa ile place ya kuchoma tires inaitwaje?
Kondele.
Watu wangu wa Kondele.
Kondele ni wapi?
Yani mtu azishirapa.
Anyway, Magunga episode 303, we are
My Cheque.
Has been lovely.
That was fun.
Over 26.
This is
The Burger Podcast.
This is the Brunch Club. Over 26.
welcome back to
The mics are closed.
Now when you watch it you'll understand.